It is. Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey, do you guys know what today is?
Hump day!
It is hump day. I know, it's so exciting. It is so exciting. This is the middle of the week. You know, I don't look forward to the weekends though. I used to remember dreading the work day and just always looking ahead to the weekend and being like, I can't wait. And now I'm like, aw, I don't get to talk to you guys. Aw, how's everybody? I want to tell you something. I had the occasion on Monday to lie down and to nap on my ghost bed. It's not in my room. It's in my son Jack's room. Jack and Michael's room. And so I laid down on it and I took a little snooze, and I got to tell you, I don't know if I need REM sleep.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
I
think I need to get one of these.
It is one of the most comfortable things I have ever done is to lie down on my new hybrid ghost bed. Look, they're having a Memorial Day sale right now. Plus our discount, Wendy, 10% off, ghostbed.com/Wendy. Use our name for the discount. Look, don't put off getting a new mattress. Don't do it anymore. Bite the bullet. Go to ghostbed.com/Wendy. Shop around. Read the reviews. Read their story. And then say to yourself, how long has it been? And how long am I going to put this off? And why would you when you've got such a great discount? 101 nights, sleep night guarantee. That's a promise to you. You don't like it after that? We'll take it back. You're going to love it. It's cooling. It's comfortable. It's an engineered health system. Literally. Because when you sleep, everything about you is better. You don't wake up with pressure point pain or weird hot spots or what have you. Ghostbed.com/Wendy. Just do it. Great time. Great time. I don't know when prices are going to be this low again. It is luxurious without the cost. I will tell you that much. Wow. Dr. Gerald or Dr. Gerald, $10. Your fabulosity and sassiness shows brilliantly in the opening picture.
Mm-hmm.
Brock showed me that this morning, and I was like, really? We're going to put me in there? Who knows where that picture is from? Let's see who can tell me on the comments. Let's see who knows where that picture. Now, Brock modified it to have me sitting down, but who recognizes that picture? Where was it taken?
I did not modify it.
And with whom? With whom was that picture taken? Let's see if you guys get it. I know you will. We'll see who's the one. By the way,
There you go. Sherry got it.
a very happy birthday to a friend of mine who has been struggling a little bit. His name is Bill Ballin. Bill is, he's my neighborhood treasure. He's the guy who knows how to fix old school BMWs.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's the guy who, and he's had some real struggles. Hasn't been able to go to work in a while, and he's not been feeling well. And I just want to say happy birthday, Bill. I see you, and you matter.
Does Bill watch?
You matter. Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. I see you, babe. I pray for you. I hope you feel better. So I shared something on LinkedIn and I read it. The guy, Mars Lewis, and he and I have been going back and forth. And I'd said, hey, I just want you to know, I think you're brilliant and I love what you write and I share it. And I said, if you have a moment, you should follow and see what we do. And he wrote me the most beautiful message back. He's like, I was able to watch your show, and he wants to parlay what he does into podcasting. And so he's like, maybe I can talk to you and get some pointers. I was like, sure, why not? Having people like that in your corner or being associated with very smart, conservative thinkers, thought leaders, can you ever have enough of those people in your life?
I remember the last time someone asked you that.
Sean
Parnell.
Parnell.
And you said, and then my phone rang.
And I said, no, you hack. You're not allowed to do anything on my show. No, he's great, and he became a star himself. And now he's the wingman of the Department of War. I love it.
Well, I remember my phone rang. You're like, hey, Sean Parnell's going to be calling you. He has questions.
Mm-hmm. See, I'm the puppeteer, Brock. I just dole all the work off on you. He was great, though, and you did a great job with him.
He was easy to work with.
Hey, Murtek, good to have you, babe. Good to have you. Who else wants to raid us? They should raid us.
Sean came along at the perfect time for me.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, you had some downtime.
Yeah.
You weren't driving for a while, so you were kind of stuck. Yeah. I love today's show. We got a little bit of everything for you guys. We're going to start with some Iran stuff because Trump is doing what Trump does.
Make shit happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hate that dictator. Gosh.
No kings.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at me.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we are converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America, and a warm hump day greeting to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. You know, if you are getting up and about in America today, my goodness, what a beautiful day to be you. What a great day to be a part of the greatest country this world has ever known. What a great day to be a part of the majority that gave America and this president a mandate to go out and to do great things, to do magnanimous things, to do things that the deep state abhors because it is best for the world. That is this day, ladies and gentlemen. And you are a part of it. Welcome to the Wendy Bell radio program. We're easy to find, live video stream of all 3 hours, wendybellradio.com. If you prefer to listen after hours on the podcast, same way you find us, wendybellradio.com. Bring a friend next time you come, and I hope you like what you hear because it's a great show today. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. You've got to laugh at the stupid things the Democrats have tried to lob at this president specifically and his administration, but this president, the things they've tried to convince you that he is. All of the ways in which they've created fake news stories, how they've tried to plant evidence, how they've tried to listen in on his conversations, how they've tried to drum up problems that he had with business, as they've tried to find anybody on planet Earth who's got a reason for this president to not go down in history as the greatest ever. He's figuring out what to do with Iran right now, you guys, which I think is brilliant. It's not just President Trump, but his team. This is the story of the day, and the show is going to be fantastic because the whole second half hour, you've got to stay for this. It's so fantastic to hear Marco Rubio, in a very basic way, walk through why this war was so important, what this president was trying to achieve, what happens next, what he thinks about for the Iranian people, everything about the Strait of Hormuz, the nuclear, all of it. And you're going to hear from Marco Rubio, and you're going to hear from a statesman who most assuredly is going to be president at some point in the future. But as for now, right now, I thought it was odd when the president put out a truth He was tapping the brakes, pausing Operation Epic, or rather Operation Freedom. You remember this is the one he dropped on Monday, I think it was. And he's like, look, America is we're going to guide all of these ships that are stranded in the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to get them out of there. We're going to free them up because there is a humanitarian crisis on board. And what's happening with Iran and the people planting mines and firing at these ships and creating this lane of terror, it can't continue. Well, this president said, based on the request of Pakistan and other countries, the tremendous military success that we've had during the campaign against the country of Iran, and additionally, the fact that great progress has been made toward a complete and final agreement with representatives of Iran, we have mutually agreed that while the blockade will remain in full force and effect, which strangles Iran, Project Freedom, the movement of ships through the Strait of Hormuz, will be paused for a short period of time to see whether or not the agreement can be finalized and signed. President Donald J. Trump. That said, moments after that dropped, the Daily Mail broke this story. Trump is set to lift U.S. sanctions on Iran. He's ready to free billions of dollars and unlock uranium enrichment in an unexpected Obama-style peace proposal. What's this? This is what the Daily Mail is reporting, and now other outlets are confirming that Trump is on the verge of securing this sweeping peace deal with Iran that would, in fact, lift these absolutely economy-punishing, ruining sanctions, with Trump envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner finalizing the deal. The White House believes the memo could finalize a framework to end the war probably by Friday, 48 hours. Now, if it's signed, a 30-day window would open for both countries to negotiate a larger agreement of covering the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, the lifting of all U.S. sanctions on Iran, and new limits on its nuclear program. And so the people are saying, well, isn't this a lot of what Obama tried to do? Yeah, but Obama didn't destroy their entire military operation. Barack Obama didn't launch a military offensive, the likes of which the modern era has never seen. Barack Obama didn't destroy Iran's navy. He did not decimate their missiles. He did not ruin their drone stock and supply. This president did. And if he was truly a dictator, if Donald Trump was truly the king that all the deranged leftists out there who are clone troopers parroting all of the comments from the left-wing media, if Donald Trump was truly a king, he wouldn't give a rat's ass about what was going on with the Strait of Hormuz. He wouldn't give a rat's ass about Iran getting any kind of economic something back. He wouldn't care at all about the people of that great country who need to rise up and take their country back. How do you do that when you have been under the thumb of radical religious clerics, wild Shia clerics, whose religion is death to America and death to Israel? How do you do? President Trump thinks this is the way. We're going to give you the greatest detour. I'm going to give you an olive branch, and then I'm going to give you a boost so you can reach it. This will be the deal, and we'll get the details of the 14 points. I want you to hear Trey Yingst. Shortly after this story broke on Daily Mail, Fox News confirmed it. I believe Trey's reporting from, I think he's in Israel. I'm not sure, but this is what he said. Listen.
Well, this morning, Axios is reporting that a memorandum of understanding could be reached in the next 48 hours that would include 14 points agreed to by both the United States and Iran, among them an enrichment moratorium and also opening eventually the Strait of Hormuz. Now, if this does move forward, it's an indication that progress is being made at the negotiating table. The question is whether or not the Iranians are serious about actually signing this understanding and if it would lead to a firm, broader agreement in the future. Within the reporting that we're reviewing this morning, is a 30-day window to reach that broader understanding. Now, the White House has not commented on this report, but this could be one of the reasons why the president is pulling back, at least on Project Freedom right now, again, to allow the Iranians to come to the negotiating table and reach this deal in the days ahead.
Trump has been at pains to avoid anything resembling, one would imagine, the 2015 Obama deal, says the Daily Mail, that he spent years trashing as the worst deal ever, but the emerging framework does echo it in some ways. Lifting of sanctions, freezing billions now being released, and Iran capping at the same 3.67% enrichment level agreed to by Obama. Now, this is obviously a huge concession by the president. But obviously, Trump believes that they have enough people and they could do enough oversight and monitoring of whatever the Iranian regime plans to do to make sure that a nuclear warhead is not created. So how do you feel about this? I personally would have preferred to have seen something, and we'll wait until the final details come out, that says zero enrichment, zero potential, no possibility, total deal breaker. It's not a starter, so we'll see. But again, as president, he wants the Iranian people to live the way we do here in America. He wants the Cuban people to live the way we do here in America. He wants Venezuelans to live the way we do here in America. And how do we live here in America? Well, if you're a leftist, it's never good enough. I would dare say anybody on the left who doesn't like what's going on in America should, for a while, go to one of these other three aforementioned countries where communism reigns supreme, where murder of your not even political enemies. Anybody who speaks out against you is normalized. Go to these countries where transgender people get thrown off of the roofs of buildings. And then come back to America and tell me what a king this president is. He didn't have to get his hands dirty in this. He didn't need to be tainted by a war during his second term. But he knew if he didn't neutralize the threat, if he didn't destroy the shield that they were making with all of their drones and all of their missiles, and Iran was able to put the finishing touches on a nuclear warhead, that would be it, ladies and gentlemen. So, back to my opening thought. You are waking up today. You are going about your day in the greatest place on planet Earth with a president who wants to spread it to the rest of the planet. I voted for that. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program. Okay, so apparently the UFO files are coming out. Kash Patel said so. Really? What does that mean? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I don't know. I do know. I'm super geeked to announce that our friends at Health Revolution have decided to come back to the Wendy Bell radio program, not for another month of advertising during this show, which is a commitment, but they also want to sponsor the podcast, and they also want to do radio commercials with us. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not because I'm some kind of a rock star. I mean, I am, duh. But it's because of you. It's because of you. And they flat out told me there is something very special about your audience. They are loyal as all get out to you, Wendy. But when they call because they mean to buy. And at Health Revolution, info.healthrevolution.net, you have an opportunity to get off of the crappy Affordable Care Act plan that you have that has you signing up for stuff that you don't need and paying between 30 and 60% more than you ought to. Info.healthrevolution.net is your landing page to get you your own private health plan, and you manage it, not the government. If you're under 65, if you're in reasonably good health, right? If you are self-employed, if you are on COBRA, and this is something that's even bigger, Cigna, which is a major health insurance carrier, they've announced that they're going to be exiting the Affordable Care Act marketplace next year. And that means thousands of individuals are going to have to seek other coverage. If that's you, 800, Brooke, can you put it up on the screen for me? 800-868-6187. 800-868-6187. info.healthrevolution.net. No copays, lower deductibles. You keep your doctor and you don't get signed up for crap that you don't need. Freedom. info.healthrevolution.net. I'm a big fan. And I'm grateful for you guys. I'm also going to give you a little bit of an update coming up in the next break on tulip plumes.
What I think
guys
Trump
have
did
enjoyed
just
that.
to pivot a little is getting UAE and Saudi Arabia to change how they're distributing their oil and doing more. It's also going to hurt Iran because they're not going to be able to charge whatever and make a ton of money. He's going to flood the market.
Energy independence. And then they were talking about, and Marco Rubio says this coming up in the next half hour. He talks about what we're doing, what Venezuela was doing with their oil, screwing the Venezuelan people, and Cuba.
And screwing the Cuban people.
We're going to enrich it. We're going to sell it. And then we're going to keep 60% of the proceeds and screw the people. What? You've got poverty? Program. Whether you're loosely connected to this story or you're completely all in, it still doesn't answer why 15 scientists and people who've worked with NASA, people with some top security clearances, people doing experiments on all sorts of stuff, why they've died and why we are no closer to figuring out how they're all connected. I think you and I, common sense, kind of have an idea of why they're all connected. Look, I think there's a race. I think there's a race among America, China, probably Russia, to try to innovate, develop the next phase of some kind of transportation. And if I'm reading the tea leaves correctly, and I could be wrong, some of these spacecraft that have reportedly crashed here in America and elsewhere have been researched by our military, by NASA, by others. And there's a lot of information that's being kept very hush-hush. Are we going to learn all about that? I don't know. I think 46 videos of UFO encounters and alien encounters that the Department of War, the Pentagon, is releasing. I think that's going to open the door. Kash Patel was on with Sean Hannity, I think it's last night. And the FBI director was like, look, we've been looking at doing this. We want to declassify it. The president, it's important to him. And so it's coming, and it's going to come imminently, maybe around the same time that we get a deal with Iran. Listen.
The idea that there would be life on other planets that may be visited here would not at all shock or surprise me. Have you ever looked into it?
We're looking at it. Here's the thing. Again,
okay, I want all the details.
Here's the thing. Every other president before President Trump could have said, hey, let's look at that and get the American people the information. What did he do? He stood up an interagency process with Department of War leading that effort to get out the documentation related to everything that you're talking about, not just from the FBI, from the IC and everywhere else. And so what do? We already delivered our first tranche of information to that committee, and they're going to be publicly releasing this information very soon. We are all for it. There's nothing in this subject that we're talking about that we don't want released. Our job at the FBI is to work with the White House and DOW, give them the information, and then they're going to put that out in a methodical process. And you're going to start seeing those releases literally happening in the very near future. We just met on it.
Okay, so that's the story from the administration now. So let's hear how the left is talking about this. And my favorite, well, that's a lie, kind of tongue-in-cheek. Leftist rag would be the Daily Beast. And according to the writers over at the Daily Beast, the UFO files are really just a smokescreen. It's a distraction to take you away from the failures of this administration. Can you believe what they've done? They closed the border. They're deporting dangerous criminal illegal aliens. Damn them. Oh my gosh, what else are they doing? All this investment, trillions of dollars investment. We're taking out a nuclear threat for the entirety of the world. I hate these people. That's the story of the Daily Beast, and that they're using these UFO files to, I don't know, smoke screen us into not paying attention to what's going on. Let's read. This is the headline. Keystone Cash, as in Patel. Keystone Cash goes full X-Files as earthly troubles mount. Really? One thing I've learned about the left is when they write about stuff, it's usually about the stuff that they do, that they project on the other side and accuse them of doing. If you ever want to know what the Democrats are really up to, listen to what they accuse Republicans of doing. And then you know it's my 180-degree rule. FBI Director Kash Patel is hyping the release of UFO and alien life files as the president's war on Iran drags on. Wah, wah. Well, that could be over. So anyway, the 46-year-old told Sean Hannity, why his age is important, I don't know. The 46-year-old told Sean Hannity on his podcast that the Trump administration has diverted resources to investigating extraterrestrial life, even as Americans grapple with an affordability crisis and tensions with Iran remain at a stalemate. Now, the Daily Beast is going to be like, oh, yeah, have you filled up your gas tank yet lately? It's Trump's fault. Well, that's kind of interesting because as word of this potential deal with Iran broke, the cost of a barrel of oil dropped below $100 for the first time in a while, and it will continue to plummet. And then what will the Daily Beast be so overclapped? Patel, who is fending off rumors that his firing is imminent. Wow, that's a detour. Went on to say that Trump's penchant for probing alien life is yet another example of the president delivering on his promises. It's true, though. And this is what Kash said. President Trump listens to what the American public has an interest in. He's got to do a million different things at once. And he still has the time to say, stand up an organization. The American public wants a document. We've already delivered the documents, he said. They're coming out. That's it. And then the final line is the FBI didn't respond to requests for comment. Why would anybody respond to this hack piece of journalism? That Kash Patel is about to get fired and that Donald Trump is using the UFO files as some smokescreen for the war that he's probably going to end by the end of this week. I mean, if you're a Democrat, you're like, damn it, can't we do anything right? Hurry, let's go gin up another whack job lefty, a ticking time bomb that we can set to detonate somewhere else when we need it. That's not a joke, because that's also what's going on. When we come back on this program, and I encourage you, this is not a point to go to the potty, right? Maybe now in the commercial, but we're going to hear from Marco Rubio. I want you to hear this administration's plans, their ideas, the thought of this president from the man who sits right next to him every day, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, next. Kind of sounds like he was going to be on live, didn't it? I kind of made it sound like that. That was deceptive.
What?
Exactly. So I wasn't intentional. It's just audio from, do you guys see any of the press conference when he was in the White House press briefing room? I don't know if Caroline's had her baby yet, but
She did.
she did. What'd she have?
I don't know. I just know she had a baby.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't have to act weird about it. You can know. You can be a little voyeuristic about that. Do you think Eric Swalwell sent her a congratulatory video?
That'd make me not want to have a kid just in case he's sitting it there.
Woof. That is so grody. Okay, so I got this from Robin. And Robin says, hey, I received my second Tulip Blooms order yesterday. She said she got the Blue Calm and 4 bottles of the castor blends.
Jeez.
Excited to try the blends on my hair. I'm going to be giving a bottle to my daughter to see if it will help her hair thickness and growth. Did the blue calm last night and this morning. Love how it feels. Thank you for the recommendation. Right? So I put it all in my little yellow bag because not that I don't trust people who clean here, but you know. This is one of the castor blends. And the benefit of these oils on your, I didn't know that they were using it on hair as well, but the beauty of these essential oils and these wonderful fragrances and all of the elements that go into it, the people who own Tulip Blooms, Ashley and Patrick, they research all of this stuff. This isn't just throw a bunch of crap into a bowl and whip it up. They know all about scents. They know all about healing. They know all about herbs and stuff that occurs in nature that is medicinal. And they boil it all down into these luxurious offerings that are fantastic. The castor blend is really good to put on your abdomen because it goes into your skin and it apparently has great effects on your organs. I was like, what? Yeah, this is Patrick telling me this because I was like, oh, I really like the castor blends. He's like, did you know? And then he's like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no, I didn't. But now I'm like, "Rrr." So Tulip Blooms.
I need a vat of that.
Tulip. If I could just do a dip in there and come back out and be like, woo. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. I don't know if they're doing expedited stuff to get things to mom for Mother's Day, but look, it doesn't have to just be for Mother's Day. We have a great discount there, automatic 10% off, but the more you buy, the better the discount. And they've made that abundantly clear. So put together a package, maybe for yourself, maybe for the man in your life. Maybe think about that for the man in your life for Father's Day, somebody's birthday, or just cuz. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy.
I'm still hiding mine.
You are. Yeah, I know, right? I have them like, they're like lighters or you know, from the 1980s. Lighters or reading glasses, right? You have one everywhere. Wherever you might be, you're like, oh, yes. These are my reading glasses. I have one on every floor, one in my car, one here. Fantastic. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. So what's going on with you guys? Let's see how you're doing.
She had a girl, apparently.
Oh, nice. Nice. 1.37. Good job.
Well,
that is terrific. Let's get more comments. All right. What do you guys think she named him? Let's see. Huh? Named her, rather. Vivian? Vivian.
That's what the guy guessed at the dinner. So I guess I should have known it was a girl.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
right
was
before
before the shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love that. A mentalist? Wouldn't you love that?
No.
I would love that. I've had a couple readings that have been
Here we go.
pretty interesting. So I was at a restaurant, Luke and Mike's front porch here in Aspinwall, Pennsylvania. And they had a young lady who was doing tarot cards. And for $20, go in there and she'll do a tarot card reading. I'm like, okay, I love stuff like that. So I sat down. She allegedly did not know who I was. And I would imagine that was probably the case because she was young. So she lays out the cards and then she goes, And she opens up her book and reads about them. And she's like, And I'm like, what? She said, these are the best cards you can get in the best 3 positions. I've never done that before. So she reshuffles, does it again, and the same 3 cards show up. And she's like, you're going to be very successful doing something. She said financially. And I was like, ooh, tell me more. Here's another 20. Right? Is that what this is about?
For $40, I will.
No, if I give you more, how much better does it get? But she did. She told me that. And so ever since then, I've been like, whatever.
Did she tell you were going to have the greatest coworker ever?
No. But I do. Kelly Pigeon's been wonderful. I mean, he has been. Aw.
That's hurtful.
Aww. Anyway, I thought it was fun. I love that stuff. I love the stars and the horoscope and all that dippy stuff. I'm in on it. I'm like, let's go. Sometimes dreaming about fantastical stuff is better than dealing with the reality of suck. What? You're going to love Marco Rubio. Honestly, he makes me go.
Is he a boyfriend?
I think so. If he would have me.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Well, I dumped Harry a long time ago. And you know what? I'm going to say Steve Hartman, he's really not been very responsive to my love. So I can only give it for free for so long. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm probably not the first person to put it out there in the ethos, but Marco Rubio will one day be president of the United States. Period. I would vote for him. Now, I would vote for him. This man has proven to be all that and a bag of donuts. And not just the munchkins, the real ones. Yesterday, he took the White House press briefing duties for the maternity leave having Caroline Leavitt. I guess she had a little daughter, Vivian. Good for her. Hope she's great. And so Marco Rubio goes up to the podium, and he's obviously going to talk about these negotiations with Iran. So yesterday, obviously, the needle was moving in the direction of some kind of an agreement, some kind of an accord. And Marco Rubio stands up to take questions from the press. Now, this is very interesting to watch. He is extraordinarily well-spoken. He is extraordinary at communicating in everyday ways with people of all kinds of backgrounds and all kinds of knowledge bases. He speaks the language of common sense, and at the end of it, you feel like you walk away and you are better for having had the experience. How many elected officials can you say that about? I'm going to go with almost zero. So let's get to it. We've got some great sound bites. And this is where America's chief statesman is addressing what's really going on with America and Iran. And he says, look, this initiative, we're done. We've already accomplished our objectives. Iran's economic problems are real. And this president wants to make a deal with them, but they do not. Iran's leaders should probably check themselves, he said, before they wreck themselves. Listen.
Operation Epic Fury is concluded. We achieved the objectives of that operation. I'm not going to, we're not cheering for an additional situation to occur. We would prefer the path of peace. What the president would prefer is a deal. He would prefer to sit down, work out a memorandum of understanding for future negotiations that touches on all the key topics that have to be addressed, a full opening of the strait so the world can get back to normal. He preferred that be negotiated through the route that Steve and Jared have been working and that all of us have been supporting. That's the route he prefers. That is so far not the route that Iran has chosen. And so the result has been that the United States has to do something about the fact that we're the only nation on earth that can do anything to open up a lane within the Straits of Hormuz to get product and to rescue these people that are trapped in there. And that's what we're undergoing now. What that may lead to in the future is speculative. I'm not going to speculate about what it would take or what it would do. But look, the message to Iran, these guys are facing, they are facing real catastrophic destruction to their economy, generational destruction to their economy, generational destruction to the wealth of their country, imposed on themselves by the actions that they're taking. They should check themselves before they wreck themselves in the direction that they're going.
They should check themselves before they wreck themselves. Look, if President Trump was a king or a dictator, right, he would have blown up the entirety of the country, right? He would have been like, you're done. We're done trifling with you. But he cares about the people of Iran. He knows that they cannot survive much longer because they're getting nothing from their government. Their government does not care. Donald Trump does. That's not king-like. That's called being a leader. That's called being the beacon of hope for the free world. Marco Rubio continues. And he says, look, to all the reporters in the room, many of whom are against this administration. He said, remember why this war started. Iran having a nuclear weapon would have led to their total control of the Straits of Hormuz. Listen.
Everybody needs to think about it this way. If Iran had a nuclear weapon and they decided to close the straits and make our gas prices like $9 a gallon or $8 a gallon, we wouldn't be able to do anything about it because they have a nuclear weapon. And a nuclear armed Iran could do whatever the hell they want with the straits, and there's nothing anyone would be able to do about it. And that's one of the many reasons, apart from like the massive loss of life in a nuclear strike, why Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. I mean, so this is an example of if they had a nuclear weapon, they closed the straits and they would tell the world, what are you going to do about it? We have a nuclear weapon. We can attack you with it. That's the world none of us want to leave behind. It won't happen under this president's watch, but some future president and future, and the future Americans will have to deal with this. So it's just one more example of why these guys can never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon.
And to anybody out there who doesn't understand that, who doesn't understand the whole purpose of this offensive, I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but you're obviously not educated enough to be a part of this conversation. Iran having nuclear capacity would allow them to terrorize the straits, would allow them to charge for passage, would allow them to choose the winners and the losers and who gets their stuff through from the Persian Gulf. This president said, no, we're not going to do that. And if we don't act now, it's going to be too late. Well, they should come to Congress and get a war resolution. No. You know darn well what would happen in Congress. Same thing that happened in Minnesota yesterday. As Democrats in the Minnesota House voted against the subpoenaing of Ilhan Omar's communications with the Feeding Our Futures folks, the big scam, $250 million. You've got Democrats voting against, digging into that. Can you imagine what they have done? If the president had gone to Congress and had asked for their freaking permission. These people don't understand. All they understand is power and their own political hide. Marco Rubio continues on the disparity between the people of Iran and the leaders and how this president wants for the people there what he wants for you and for me.
Guys, I know I've said this. I think I said this in my hearing before the Senate when I got confirmed. I don't know of any country in the world where there's a bigger difference between the people and the people who run the country. Okay, this country is run by radical Shia clerics. And that's not what Iran and the Iranian people are. Now, they may be Shia, but they're not radicals and they're not clerics. And they just want a normal life and a regular life. And in many ways, a very cosmopolitan country with an incredible history and incredible legacy and the like. So there's this huge divide between the people of Iran, whom we sympathize with, and who the president sympathizes with, because they're the ones suffering. Look, the world is a victim of Iran, okay? The world is a victim of Iran because they're terrorists, because of what they're doing now in the Straits. But the people of Iran are daily victims of the regime, and the president has deep sympathy for what they're going through. And I think he's just expressing that sympathy and that frustration that they don't have the ability to do more to get rid of this regime that has crushed this country and isolated it from the world, which is a country that shouldn't be isolated from the world because its people are phenomenal.
And the left's futile attempts to paint President Trump as some cold, unfeeling jerk, right? It so doesn't stick any kind of landing. A cold, unfeeling jerk doesn't run to the American flag and embrace it and kiss it on live television, right? And he certainly isn't moved by images of murdered Iranian people hanged in the streets, people executed in their homes, right? This president, Marco Rubio says, and this is a very interesting inside look at watching the president react to the horrors of life in Iran.
Look, he's heartbroken by these images. You think about it, you're an Iranian, okay? You're unhappy that your economy doesn't work for you. You don't have freedom. You don't have an opportunity to express yourself. You know, you've got friends that have been shot in the head because they're out protesting. And it's heartbreaking to him to see that these people are abused in this way and have no measures to take against their own government as a result of it. By the way, this goes back, if you guys remember the protests in 2009 where they slaughtered people in the street. This is a vicious regime, guys. Okay? These are people that hang people from cranes in the town square so everyone can see. They continue these executions of people and have continue to do so for over a decade and a half now. And so I think what the president is expressing is the desire that he wishes the Iranian people had an ability to fight back against some of these things that are happening to them. And I would view that as distinct and separate from the specifics of this operation that was ongoing before it concluded, and certainly different from the operation that's going on now.
He's the people's president. Donald Trump is the president for the people. He's not the president for the billionaires. He's not the president for the deep state. He doesn't owe anybody anything. He's clean. He told you what he was going to do. He told you how he was going to do it. And then he did it. And he did it swiftly. Is it perfect? No. War is never. But he's for the people of Iran to have the freedoms that we have. He's for the people of Venezuela. What was behind the offensive to neutralize and extract Nicolas Maduro and his wife? The people. What is he trying to do for Cuba? Rescue the people. Give them their country back. Get them out from underneath the heavy hand of communism. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked. It won't work. Marco Rubio talks about the economic impact this Operation Economic Fury has had on Iran and how the leaders largely don't care at all about its impact on their people.
Look, they're suffering devastating damage to their economy. You're right, but it's not that they're able to withstand pressure, it's that they don't care that their people are suffering. You understand, right? There's a difference between we can withstand pressure and we actually don't care. Now, I think there are people in their system that care more than others. You know, some of the elected people that you see, some of the people you see on television with the suits on, you know, those guys care because they know at the end of the day they have to live in the reality. And then you have another element of their government, the clerics, the IRGC types, who probably are more immune to that and care less. They're more interested in regime survival at all costs.
And so the person here who's the humanitarian, the person here who wants to come in on the white horse and save not just Iran, but the world from Iran is Donald flippin' Trump. And Marco Rubio says, look, it's not just Iran. Problems between Lebanon and Israel. Iran is behind all of the bad actors in the Middle East. Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis. Iran is the head of the snake.
The problem with Israel and Lebanon is not Israel or Lebanon, it's Hezbollah. Hezbollah operates from inside of Lebanese territory. They terrorize and attack Israelis, but they also are inflicting tremendous damage on the Lebanese people. The reason why Lebanon gets attacked by Israel is because of Hezbollah, because Hezbollah is hiding in some house, launching rockets against Israelis, and then they get hit. So what you're seeing now is Israeli responses to either attacks or perceived threats. And this is not new. This has been going on for a very long time. What is our hope? Our hope is to engage the Lebanese and Israeli governments under, our mediation at the table to achieve this. And that is having Lebanese armed forces and a Lebanese government, not just with a willingness, but with the capability to begin to challenge Hezbollah and disarm them. Because the Lebanese people are also victims of Hezbollah. And by the way, on the topic of Hezbollah and Lebanon, who is behind Hezbollah? Why do they exist? They're an agent of Iran. If you go through that Middle East and you identify every problem, Hamas, Hezbollah, to some extent the Houthis, obviously, and others, behind every one of these groups is Tehran. So apart from the nuclear weapons, apart from all these other things, these guys are behind all the bad actors. Hezbollah is a wing. It's an extension of Iranian desire to destabilize the region. So we're very committed to this process. It's not going to be easy. You're asking me a complex question. You know this has been going on for a very long time. It's not going to be easy. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that both sides continue to talk so that progress can be made on some sort of permanent ceasefire that isn't constantly spoiled by Hezbollah and by Hezbollah violence.
Kings want to quash dissent. President Trump wants to enable it. He wants the people of these countries able to fight back. Kings would install other kings. He wants the people to choose. The left's narrative is so lame. And he's got one final blow. Actually, two more statements from the Secretary of State. You got to hear. One of them should be on his presidential ads next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I was listening to this on the car on the way home yesterday afternoon. And this morning, when Brock and I started talking about the show, he made mention of Marco Rubio. And he's like, have you heard any of the Rubio? I'm like, yes, it's very straightforward. This is not complicated. All right, let's see what we want to do. I know a lot of people out there who suffer from anxiety. And I've had one almost panic attack. And it's very frightening, and you feel very out of control. I started sweating. My heart was racing. I felt like I couldn't get a breath. I felt like the world was spinning, and I sat down on the floor, and I put my head against the wall, and I was just like, stop. What if you could manage your stress, your anxiety, without having a prescription pad? What if you could do that without having to pay for big pharma? What if you could do that by taking one daily microgel supplement that you would squeeze into your mouth like Jell-O, like an applesauce or a yogurt, that would get those nutrients, those supplements into your bloodstream, into your cells, so that you calm down? Well, it just so happens that there is one. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. Look, this is a really safe way to not be on a drug per se. But when you need help taking the edge off, you've got it right here in your purse, in your briefcase, in your backpack. It's called Calm Mood. These aren't drugs. These are things that occur in nature that researchers have known for years are natural de-stressors. Calm Mood. That's simple. Done. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. Check out their formulations. They have one for blood sugar, blood pressure, for your bones and your ligaments, your hair, your skin, your nails, your eyes. There's one specifically for vision. Right. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. If it's your first time buying, throw everything into the cart because you're going to get 20% off. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. That's how I feel about these people. Love their products. REM sleep is, come on now. How you doing? Don't you agree Marco is fantastic?
Yes. I heard it and was, so I think I texted you. I'd vote for him.
Stat. 1.61. Can we get 400 rumbles? 400 people to click that thumbs up button before we come back at the 1 o'clock hour, in the next hour. So we got this next segment in the commercial break. It's a big ask. It's a big ask.
You dropped the one story.
Oh, what did I do?
About the guns? Making things legal?
Oh, yeah, I did not put that in. We can.
No. We can just say it.
Yeah, Harmeet Dillon is hinting that the Supreme Court is going to make a blanket ruling about the legality of AR-15s.
Hell yeah.
They're like the most common gun. And how many hundreds of millions of people have them? And they're booga, right? And the Supreme Court is poised. Harmeet Dillon, Assistant Attorney General. The CNN and MSNBC shows, and in Politico, New York Times, Washington Post, yada, yada, is that Donald Trump is just this big bull in a china shop. He says stupid stuff. He bloviates, pats himself on the back, tries to reward his friends. He only cares about billionaires. He doesn't care about you. And they've tried very hard to spin that yarn. And they're not sticking the landing on it. Because everything you hear from him, everything you hear people in his inner circle say about him is exactly why you voted for him. A guy who cannot be bought, cannot be owned, cannot be corrupted, with a profound sense of duty, an amazing loyalty, a profound gratitude for the United States of America, and a very simple goal that is really not simple at all, is to make America great again. That is this man. And the people against that don't want what he wants. Why? Why is that? Marco Rubio, one more time, 2 more sound bites. The second one is flipping gold. He says here look, Iran does not care about the sailors who are essentially starving, captive on their ships, that are being held prisoner in the Strait of Hormuz. They don't care. They don't care who dies. They don't care who suffers. They don't care about any of it. But this president does. Somebody finally had to have the huevos to do something about Iran. And this president did.
The president, and I, for that matter, I think most people, I cannot understand why anyone would think that it's a good idea for Iran to ever have a nuclear weapon. Look what they're doing with the Straits right now. They're holding the whole world hostage. They have these sailors, on commercial ships that are going to starve to death out there. They don't care. They don't care that this is melting down the economies around the world, even of their own allies. This is what they're doing with the Straits. What do you think they would do if they had a nuclear weapon? They would hold the world hostage with that nuclear weapon. That's what they would do. They would do exactly to the world with a nuclear weapon what they're doing now with the Straits. And I think the president's point is how anyone cannot see that as an unacceptable outcome and an unacceptable risk is beyond him. It's puzzling. And someone has to do something about it. The difference between this president and like the 6 presidents that preceded him were that he's the only one that's actually been willing to do something about it. Everyone says Iran can't have a nuclear weapon, but you got to do something about it at some point. And he's been willing to address that threat. And that's what he promised he would do when he got elected, by the way, is address threats like this.
Promises made and promises kept. And then I wanted you to get the interaction of the reporter asking this question of Marco Rubio yesterday, because this reporter asks about his faith, and it opens up an answer about Marco Rubio's wish for America. And it's beautiful. Listen.
Back row, yellow tie. Back row,
Secretary,
yeah.
With CBN News, you've had a deep faith for God and country. At the end of the day, with all that you've been involved in,
keep going.
You've been extremely busy.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
As we all know. I got to ask you, what is your hope for America at a time such as this?
My hope for America?
And how do you personally deal with that?
Yeah, look, I mean, my hope for America is what it's always been. I think it's the hope I hope we all share. We want it to continue to be the place where anyone from anywhere can achieve anything, where you're not limited by the circumstances of your birth, by the color of your skin, by your ethnicity, but frankly, it's a place where you are able to overcome challenges and achieve your full potential. I think that should be the goal of every country in the world, frankly, but I think in the U.S., we're not perfect. Our history is not one of perfection, but it's still better than anybody else's history, and ours is a story of perpetual improvement. Each generation has left the next generation of Americans freer, more prosperous, safer, and that is our goal as well. But it is a unique and exceptional country, and as we come upon this 250-year anniversary, I think we have a lot to learn and be proud of in our history. It is one of perpetual and continuous improvement, where each generation has done its part to bring us closer to fulfilling the vision that the founders of this country had upon its founding.
Yeah, all that, every day, twice on Sundays, please. Ours is a story of perpetual improvement. America is a place where anyone from anywhere can achieve anything. See, in our America, we believe that you should have opportunity, but it's up to you to seize it. It's up to you to fight for it. It's up to you to achieve it, not rigging the game, fixing the system, giving certain groups advantages over others. That's not America. America is you. All of you. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Democrats, they've created these toxic time bombs, and they're ticking. I've got proof of that next. I just think he's brilliant. You know,
I thought it was a great answer. He never stumbles either.
He doesn't say or It's not complicated. Marco Rubio is not complicated. This whole initiative against Iran has not been complicated. They've told you the plan from the beginning. They told you the whys. They gave you the whos. They told you roundabout the whens, but used it as the element of surprise, which was very effective. And they've told you every step of the way what they believe comes next. There's been no evasion. There've been no false illusions or pretenses or fakeness about it. This is what we've done. These are the machines that we've used. This is what we've destroyed. And this is when we believe the job is done. Whenever has an American presidency or administration ever been that transparent? I haven't. It's kind of refreshing. It's refreshing to the point people don't know what to do with it. They're like, arr. I want to tell you about something that's very effective if you are trying to lose weight and you don't want to take weight loss shots, whether they're expensive or the side effects wig you out. I get it. But if you plateau, so for instance, say you want to lose 50 pounds and you're doing really, really well and you lose 5 pounds and you're like, wow, this is starting. And then you hit this wall and you plateau and you're like, I can't get off of this ledge. I need a push. I need to continue with the weight loss, but now I'm getting discouraged. Why not introduce Juvenon's GLP-1 Gold into your routine? First of all, it's affordable. It's like less than 40 bucks. I think it's probably less than 30 bucks, something like that. With our 30% discount, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. That's how you get to it. Everything there for the Wendy Bell Radio family is 30% off when you use that landing page. GLP-1 Gold, what does it do? It automatically helps build up this messaging between your brain and your gut that tells you to stop eating. And so you sit down and you're going to eat, and then you just don't eat as much as you normally do because this hormone is functioning the way it should. That's it in a nutshell. It just gives you a little ammunition, gives your gut a little nudge, and it helps you get over that hump because plateauing on a weight loss thing is so defeating. bloodflow7.com/Wendy, 30% off. Check it out, read about it, see if it's something you want to try. I mean, imagine trying something for a month that's less than $1 a day. Okay. I can do that. Maybe give it 2 months. See how it works. It's going to crush your appetite is what it's going to do. bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Ta-da! So Gary Ireland called me yesterday.
Uh-oh.
I needed to pay, but that's not what he was calling. He was calling because the guy who wrote the bill for all the things that we had done, new roof, 8 new skylights, we're going to remove the old ones, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to add this. They fixed some things that weren't even on the invoice. And Gary said, you know how you're putting on your new patio in the back? And I'm like, I'm keenly aware of it, yes. And he said, well, the guy that gave you the estimate and the invoicing didn't take out the cost of the back roof, the patio, because they're not doing it. The builders are. So Ireland Contracting charged me to do something that they didn't do. I didn't pay attention to that. And it took down my bill by $2,500.
There you go.
And so Gary's like, don't write your check yet. This is what it is. It's this amount instead because this hadn't been addressed. The owner of the company went over line by line my bill. Now, is it because I'm me? I don't know. One could argue that, but I could tell you no. Because this is how Gary and Diane was in the room. And she's like, hey, Wendy, how's everything going? How are the kids? How's the show? How's it going? I'm like, we're great. And I'm like, I really had a great time with your guys. I wish it was something my neighbors could see because it's not a very visible roof, which sucks. But I have peace of mind now. Thank you for that. And thank you for checking that it was wrong. I would not have known. IrelandContracting.com. If you need a new roof, if you need new windows, if you want to put in some skylights, if you want to put on new siding, if you want to fix your gutters, if your soffit and fascia needs some serious TLC, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com.
How often does a bill go down?
I mean, right?
I mean, that's a win in itself.
It took it down by $2,200. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And I was like, thank you. And then I had to tell him that we had stolen 2 of his tarps and I was ready to give them back.
You stole his tarp?
Well, the guys finished and we put the tarps down inside when they put in the new skylights because all this debris comes down. It's And the guys had left before I got home from work.
Did he say, funny, that torque cost me $2,200?
Right? I've got 2 of them. Can we knock it down by 4,400? So yeah. And I was like, yeah, so maybe you guys, he's like, all right, I'll have one of my fellows come by and pick it up tomorrow. Ta-da! Hey, I'm not going to tell you should use them if I'm not going to use them. Right? I've got 47,799 reasons why you should call them. Marco Rubio. He's one of those guys that I would want to, and his wife wouldn't like it, but I'd be safe. I'm friendly. But he's one of those. I would just want to. I like smart, honest, talented, action-oriented men. How you doing? Right? We need to ask a question and get some of these comments going. We got 150 comments, 1.8 rumbles.
Who thinks Brock should get a $2,200 raise?
200 people to rumble for us to get to 2,000. But I know you could do it. We've got 1 minute. 1 minute.
30 seconds.
We have 30 seconds. That would be super duper. I'm going to come up with a fantastic. Okay, here's the question.
10 seconds. Hurry up.
JD Vance or Marco Rubio next?
Easy.
In the comments section, tell me what you think. Easy? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Marco Rubio.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump. Desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified, that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared to death of Trump. Trump, 75 million, 80 million votes. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going anywhere. Even if Trump does, you're not, which I think remains one of our big campaign strengths going forward. They can't separate you from Trump. And more importantly, they can't separate you from the ideas. They can't separate you from MAGA. They can't separate you from Make America Great Again.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
Well, welcome back. It is hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell Radio Program. We are live and on the clock, and it is always a joy to be with you. You know, Democrats are now kind of reaping the reward, if you will, and it's twisted, it's backwards, of all of their fake news, all of the rhetoric, all of the talking points, all of the marching orders. They have created ticking time bombs. Primarily young people who, for whatever reason, are wayward, are lost, or what have you, who glom onto these messages that Donald Trump is all this and all that he isn't. And they absorb it. And they put on their clone trooper outfit and they walk in unison to the lockstep beat of that drum. Trump is a Nazi. Trump is a fascist. Trump is this. He's a dictator. He's a king. He doesn't care. Blah, 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 blah. And it doesn't work. And if anything, the people who voted for this president have been completely unflinching and unwavering. We're going to talk about the Hoosiers, the Indiana bloodbath for all of the RINOs who voted against the redistricting of the state of Indiana. when President Trump asked them to do that last year, they got freaking schooled, you guys. Do you know how hard it is for an unknown entity to unseat an incumbent politician? It's so difficult. And Trump went 6 for 7 yesterday. And Vivek Ramaswamy, not a shocker, absolutely obliterated his Republican opponent to go on and be the Republican candidate for Ohio governor, as it should be. But you've got these ticking time bombs out there. They're pressure cookers. And nobody knows what it is that's going to set off that fuse and get the clock ticking. The man accused of starting the Palisades fire in Southern California apparently was one such time bomb. He reportedly had become obsessed with these leftist ideas. He had idolized Luigi Mangione. I mean, imagine idolizing a man who stalks a healthcare CEO and murders him in cold blood and then celebrates it and then has leftist chicks swooning over him. I simply, on a personal level, don't understand. On a factual level, I can see what's going on. That drumbeat, that steady drip of news seeps into some people. Well, some new court filings show that the alleged arsonist who started the January 2025 Palisades fire in California is this deranged leftist who hates capitalism, who resents the rich and was angry at the world. Why ever would he be? Wherever could he have gotten those messages? Is it this president who talks about this golden age? He talks about this age of enlightenment, of prosperity, of independence, of financial freedom, this windfall. They're not getting it from the president. They're getting it from the likes of CNN and MS Now and all these clowns who punch it home every night. One could say 12 dead Californians and 7,000 destroyed homes, or because of what is presented every day in the news. As a reminder, there are, of course, the hallmarks of today's unhinged, anti-American, anti-social left, this hating of capitalism, this disdain of the wealthy, this anger basically at the world. These findings were presented in a memorandum filed last week in the case of United States versus Jonathan Rinderknecht. This is ahead of his June 8th trial. So his trial is coming up next month. This is the guy that the feds say started the fires. Rinderknecht has been charged with 3 federal felony counts for starting the Palisades fire, which killed 12 people, destroyed those 7,000 homes and businesses, and caused $150 billion in damages. In the weeks preceding the arson, Rinderknecht, and I have no idea if I'm pronouncing it correctly, and I don't care. His online searches included phrases such as, "Let's kill all the billionaires," and "Let's take down all the billionaires and free Luigi Mangione." I mean, what could be wrong with that? Mangione's personal journal entries suggested he targeted the insurance executive, United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, in December of 2024 because of his intense hatred for the American for-profit health insurance industry, which he called a greed-fueled cartel. Well, one could agree with him. I could agree with some of those things that he said. I don't agree with stalking the CEO and taking a father away from his children, a man away from his wife, right? There's a huge jump going on. Yes, I can understand some of the things that you guys are talking about on the left. I agree. Healthcare is a giant grift. And Barack Obama's attempt to overhaul it was abysmally failed. If anything, costs went up, options went down, and a lot of people stopped getting coverage. How's that of any benefit? I agree with the philosophy that the system doesn't work. But I would never go out and feel like I'm some, champion for killing somebody else over it? So according to a memo in this Arsonist's case, a leftist lunatic who worked as an Uber driver in the weeks preceding the Palisades fire, ranted against capitalism. He whined about Mangione's arrest. Many of defendants' Uber passengers on December 31st, 2024 and January 1st, 2025, right before the fires, described them as angry. Can you imagine getting in this dude's Uber? He was driving erratically. He was intense. He was ranting about being pissed off at the world and about Luigi Mangione. Capitalism and vigilantism, prosecutors wrote. Can you imagine being in this dude's car? You're like, I can get a cab over here. Would you please let us off? Like, right? And he's like, steering and ranting and driving all over the place. I don't know. The left created that. You guys did that. It's like those stickers of Joe Biden that I got from a viewer back in the day. And it was like Joe Biden with his finger pointed and said, I did that. And you put it next to the gas pump when it was $5. I did that. The left did that. The left is creating these people. And if you paid attention at all to the California governor's debate last night, you hear some of these people on a political level. They're crazy. Resisting this president, resisting the way our economy works, right, is a failure in pushing your own agenda if you're a politician. But when you're somebody like this Rinder, whatever the hell his name is, you're just an angry, alone wacko who's fallen for the bait. He's gobbled it up and went back for more and then decided to set a fire to show what? The whole world a message that we're going to wipe out one of the most expensive parcels of real estate in America? Going to kill 12 people? This is what the left does, ladies and gentlemen. Other leftist violence we've just to talk about incidentally, which is not incidental at all. And I want you to think about any right-wing extreme violence that even comes close to this. Charlie Kirk's assassination. Well, Charlie Kirk just wanted people to talk. He wanted people to be able to have debates. And they killed him. How about the attack on the GOP headquarters in Albuquerque? And the ICE detention center attack in Alvarado, Texas, both last year? And of course, the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. How about the fire bombings of pregnancy crisis centers? The murder of Melissa Hortman and her husband? The assassination attempt at the White House Correspondents' Dinner? Everything that went into Renee Good and Alex Preddy? The trans shooter, Audrey Hale, whose rabid manifesto they wouldn't release? Why? Because then you'd be able to connect all the dots of raving lunacy back to the very party that's got nothing else. All they have is hate. All they have is hate. I'm done with the hate. I want more. And I voted for it. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program. Did you guys hear about this? Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro with a very despondent-looking Jake Tapper has some advice for John Fetterman, Pennsylvania's Democrat senator. Oh, I can't wait. It's probably great. Next.
Germs.
Thank you. I went a little long in that because I was pissed. Sorry. But we've got a little Pete Buttigieg sounding ridiculous. We've got a Josh Shapiro trying to tell anybody what to do when pretty sure he shouldn't. And then we've got CNN, and we might float that down to the next segment. We might, I don't know how we're going to go, but CNN did something pretty remarkable last night after the California governor's debate. And a former Biden staffer comes out and was like, Xavier Becerra is not the one anybody in the Democratic Party wants as the governor of that state. And you're like, wait, what? Wait, what? Because it sounded like they were hook, line, and sinker all about it. We'll see how much we can get in. Let's see. All of my papers are so all over the place.
And we could get rid of Pete.
Yeah, I think we can get rid of him. Let me talk to you guys about Dr. Gundry. I held it up. And I love that, these people come back to us on a month-to-month basis. So if a product isn't really working, you guys aren't all that interested in it, and we're not really moving any sales along for the client, they'll usually say, look, our return on investment is meh. So we're gonna cut and run. And I'll be like, okay, well, thank you anyway. It's been fun working with you. Things work, things stop working. It's the cycle of business, right? Dr. Gundry's been with us for a pretty long haul. And that means that you guys are hearing what I'm saying. I drink it every day. And I say, if you're already drinking water, and we all do, why wouldn't you throw a scoop of this wonderful powder? It tastes fantastic, and it's sweet without being, and it is a dietary supplement that absolutely crushes your cravings and silences the food noise in your mind that can derail your eating habits. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. It's a simple scoop in your drink, in your water. I have it in my bottle every single day. And for a period of 4 to 5 hours, it completely destroys my hunger, which is very beneficial sitting here on the air with you. I'm not thinking about food. I'm not thinking about, oh my gosh, unless I need a French dip, and then it's over. Dr. Gundry's MCT Wellness, he lost 70 pounds drinking this. This is not for the casual, I want to lose a few pounds. This is for the real deal. I want to lose some significant weight. Hold on. Sorry.
Here we go.
Sorry. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. I drink it every day. It's delicious and it works. Period. Thank you for supporting our sponsors. It is because of you that they keep coming back. You don't have a company like this, like Ireland Contracting, for 5 years. 5 years. It's because of you. And I love you for it. Thank you. You make us able to do this.
Yeah, they're OG.
What'd you say?
Ireland's.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kelly Morgan.
100%. And Sniper.
No, he's not an OG.
No. The product.
Don't tell him I said this, but that product sells itself.
Yeah, I agree. It's
Keep that on the down low.
Yeah. It's pretty outstanding. I don't know why anybody wouldn't want it, but we'll talk more about that in minutes ahead. Let's see how you guys are doing. You're helping me out here on the Rumbles. Let's see. We just hit 2. All right, fine. 20 minutes later, but... Well, I want to get Josh Shapiro in here, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. And Jake Tapper, he looks like he's, I don't know. Like he's seen his mom naked. I can't tell what it is. He looks despondent. He's talking about Politico's reporting that the GOP is trying to lure John Fetterman to flip and become a Republican. And so Jake Tapper asks him about it during some ancillary interview. And I want you to hear what Josh Shapiro had to say. Oh, Josh.
I do want to ask you one political question. Politico's Jonathan Martin is reporting that there is a quiet but serious effort by Senate Republicans like McCormick and Katie Britt to get Democratic Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman to switch parties, to become an independent and caucus with Republicans. What's your take on that?
I mean, look, I don't know what Senator Fetterman's going to do. I know that Pennsylvanians voted for a Democrat to represent them in the United States Senate. And so I think he needs to honor that and continue with his service to Pennsylvania and hopefully get back to what he was elected to do and reflect the will of the people.
Wow, well, that's great. That's some great moral guidance there, some great political advice, Josh. John Fetterman should get back to doing what he was elected to do. Well, what happens if the person who's been elected to do something or has been put into a position sucks? And I'm not talking about John Fetterman. I'm talking about Xavier Becerra. So last night on CNN, on their news night with Abby Phillip and Van Jones and what's his face, Scott Jennings, there's a woman on who's one of their providers, and her name is Sochi Hinojosa. I guess that's how you say her name. She's a former Biden Department of Justice alum, And she drops something kind of as an aside that literally floors Van Jones and Scott Jennings. A blistering comment about Biden HHS Secretary Xavier Becerra's bid to be California's governor. What? This is what happened.
Whoever is going to be governor will have to stand up to Donald Trump. Can I tell you, after working in Joe Biden's administration, I do not trust Javier Becerra to do that.
Can I just say,
whoa. I don't trust that he would be able to do that and that is the feeling.
You don't trust that he'll be able to stand up to Trump?
I don't think that he will be able to stand up to Trump and lead. And the reason why
anybody on that stage who's
before she answers that, can I ask you why?
Because when I saw him in the administration, and I think a lot of people did, and it's people understand this, he was not effective in governing. And I think that a lot of people in the Biden administration are talking about this because they realize that he was not an effective HHS secretary. And if you ask any cabinet secretary, they would tell you the same thing. And so I think that there is I think people recognize this, and I think this is why Tom Steyer has gone to the top.
Do Biden and Harris think that?
I think there have been, I have not spoken with them.
That means yes. Yes, Biden and Harris think that. Biden doesn't think. He's in his hyperbaric chamber. Harris, well, she doesn't think because she's low IQ. So then there's that. So Becerra, who lost 300,000 immigrant children, some of whom were raped, some were murdered, some committed suicide, right? Maybe that's the disqualifying part here. This guy considers himself gubernatorial candidate? Are you kidding me? And then Abby Phillip drops a bomb that I was not expecting. She's like, yeah, I've heard that before. What?
Not the first time that I've heard that, right?
Yeah.
So what Sochi's talking about is a real thing.
Yeah.
And you kind of got a little bit of a sense of it on the stage tonight where the attacks against Becerra were not about what he was or wasn't going to do in California. It was about his record in the Biden administration. It was about his character. It was about his leadership. And I do think that's going to be a problem. I'm not sure the Joe Biden adjacent brand is a good brand right now anywhere in this country. And I also think that the HHS situation, when you dig deeper into what he did in that role, that could be a problem for him.
No, Abby, say it. Say the words. He didn't care about hundreds of thousands of children from around the world. He wanted them expedited out of federal custody. He wanted them moved out. 20% of the kids in custody of Border Patrol had to be shipped out to wherever, whomever, however. It did not matter. That was the order. And he likened it to the assembly line. And Henry Ford. He likened them to some kind of industrial machine of processing, not of the world's most precious resources. Abby Phillip is right to say the ancillary brand of the Biden administration is not a good one to hitch your wagon to. Where were you, Abby, during the 4 years when we were talking about it? You were interrupting your conservative guests. You were running interference for the Democratic Party. So I find it kind of rich that Abby Phillip on CNN is the one who thinks that Becerra now, he's really not the candidate the Democrats are looking for. Well, you know what? No Democrat is a candidate Republicans are looking for. We'll just call that out. Well, let's talk about California. What happened last night on that debate stage, CNN moderating? You'll hear all of the best bits next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. All right. I just... Oh, so Sochi, who worked there, is like, yeah, he's not...
Van Jones' face said it all.
Well, he's got to be an idiot if he doesn't know that's the story. Hey, Wendy, I just finished my treatments with Dr. Simkovich today. He is so kind and down to earth. I feel extreme improvement already. From the first appointment, my sleeping started to improve. I haven't had any panic attacks in days. I'm no longer shaking or having full body twitches. My sensitivity to light is far less, and I can go stretches without wearing sunglasses. I've noticed my eyesight is even better and things aren't blurry as they were before. Overall, I feel a sense of calm that I normally never feel. Last night, I was feeling so tired that I couldn't procrastinate going to bed. I haven't felt naturally tired since I was a kid. And so that was weird. My husband is even saying he notices a big difference in me. I feel great. She came in from North Dakota. This is Shauna, North Dakota. I'm so happy I came. I cannot say thank you enough for talking about the Simkovich Concussion Institute. Had I not started watching you, I wouldn't have known this doctor existed, and I likely would have lived the rest of my life feeling like hell. This is life-changing for me. I feel like a normal person again. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com, 412-366-3700. Write it down. 412-366-3700. I love them. I love Doc. And his wife, Stacy, was a patient. And he fixed her. He healed her. And they fell in love. I love it.
I'll send you an email or text to show you what your boyfriend's talking about.
I have so many. It's serious. I need you to tell me more specifically. Oh, Harry. Oh, Harry.
This is what they're polling on. Democrats lose it when they talk about the cost of the ballroom and now how it's going to be on taxpayers. I don't know if it is or isn't, but the fact of the matter is this, the amount of money you people waste on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Daily.
Yeah.
And how much you've given to.
Let's go to Ohio, where we've got news coming out of what kind of fraud was this?
Oh, same as Minnesota.
Oh, it's more like welfare program fraud.
Let's worry about a ballroom when you're insider trading.
Right?
It's ridiculous.
Right. Well, I had to leave my silver at home, you guys. I like show and tell. I think it's fun. But I found that gold and silver, it's heavy. It's actually heavy. Lugging that stuff around, 21-ounce silver coins. I did the math. It's a couple grand right there I was holding in my hands, and it's wonderful. I love wendylovesgold.com, Texas Bullion Exchange. And, you know, I had to be a customer. I had to buy something from them so I could talk about my experience with it. It's easy. It's totally easy. 855-927-5557. That's our Wendy Bell radio phone number for them. So when it rings, they're like, we like her people. Her people want to be educated. Her people want to be prepared. And they're not afraid to spend money to get what they want. Ghost bed. Not afraid to drop a couple grand. You'll do it if it's going to be a quality product that's made in America, right? This is Texas Bullion Exchange. These guys in Texas, they feel the way you do about this country. They feel about your family the way you feel about, or about their families the way you feel about yours. Preparing for the future, giving you the information you need, and then giving you a promise. If you buy gold and silver from us, we're going to make you this promise. If you ever need to sell it back, if you ever want to liquidate your stash, you will never sell it back to them for less than what you paid for it. You will never lose money. Like, when were you ever given that guarantee? Now you have. WendyLovesGold.com. I think they are top notch. I bought from them twice. It's easy. They make it simple. And having gold and silver just gives you some peace of mind. Oh, Harry. Trump's ballroom is very unpopular. More people believe in ghosts and telepathy than support it. Oh, Harry, you're just being a dick.
Wow.
That's just sort of a dick thing to do. You know, it's not moving
feeling
any
a little-
agenda. It's not.
You're being hard on Harry.
Whatever. I'm a
He's
fickle.
yesterday's news.
I'm fickle with that. Wow.
Poor
Oh my goodness. A picture of my boys. Bobby is almost as tall as Chris. What the snap?
Bobby's going to be poor.
Bobby is going to be poor.
Yeah, I'm taking him for all his money.
Oh my heavens. Brock is taking the twins golfing for graduation, which is, I think, a lovely thought.
It might be something nice you said to me. Wow.
So California is a hot mess. California is one of the most beautiful places you'll ever be. If you've never visited, oh my Lord, it is special. It is special. It's like 800 miles of oceanfront. It's mountains and deserts, skiing and surfing, and some of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life. I am proud to have grown up there, and I'm super delighted that I left. It's an absolute experiment in how liberal and progressive policies can destroy one of the greatest places on planet Earth. That is the story now of California. It's not a story of high standards. It's a story of high taxes, of unaffordable and non-existent housing. It's a story of failed education. It's a story of a complete suffocating grip on the processes, the levers of power. Republicans don't have a chance. It's punishing. It's dirty. It's unaffordable, and it's unnecessary. And it doesn't have to be like that. But when you are suffocated by a system that refuses to lose and has really bad leaders, people who are not high IQ individuals, people who are not innovators, job creators. These are people who don't think about business. They've never had to meet a payroll. They've never had to worry about taxes. They've never had to consider all of the various things that they've foisted upon the people of California. The rules, the regulations, everything that wet blankets freedom. That's California. And you got a couple people now running for the governorship who are conservatives who could be really good forces of change. Both Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco, Riverside County Sheriff. And Steve Hilton, you know, from Fox News and from other endeavors. They're leading in the polling. And the Democrats are like, oh, snap. Eric Swalwell, who's sending masturbating videos of himself to women who have blown the whistle on his disgusting and perverted deviance. Now the Democrats are like, what do we have left? We have the former mayor of Los Angeles. We've got Katie Porter, who's a triggered whack job, who flies off the handle and is a toxic witch, from what I can tell, right? You've got the former HHS secretary, Becerra, who, you know, lost 300,000 children, and CNN just admitted is not the person to stand up for anything or get anything accomplished. We could go on and on. Well, let's listen in. Because candidates running to replace term-limited Governor Gavin Newsom pounced all over Becerra during the Golden State's gubernatorial debate last night. The focus on him underscores the surge to his kind of front-runner status in the crowded race among the Democrats. But apparently, he's not the one that they want. Is it Katie Porter? I don't know, but we want to play some clips for you. Here is Becerra being asked by... he's being asked by Caitlin Collins, resting man face, who was co-hosting or channeling this debate. She says, you know what? Donald Trump Oh, this is where Becerra himself says that Donald Trump's masked mercenary force, that is ICE. Do you believe that? Do you believe that that's what he said? Listen to this.
Secretary Becerra, on the question itself, do you also support prosecuting the leadership of ICE?
I think we should police Donald Trump's masked mercenary force that they call ICE. I think we should prosecute any of the forces that violate the law. And I think we should jail anyone who has violated the law. That goes all the way to the top. If anyone has violated the laws of California, they should serve time.
And I'm telling you, no one has.
That's, there are 2 people who are dead in Minneapolis because they were simply doing their civic duty and being able to
Your
act
civic
under
duty
the
is
Constitution.
bringing a gun and fighting with cops. Your civic duty is to try and run over cops. Come on.
Well,
you've already been called
obviously
out.
got
Oath
your other
keepers
brought guns to the Capitol, Mr.
Let's just be honest.
Sheriff Bianco.
Ed Bianco jumps in there and he's like, carrying a gun, taking a gun to a protest is doing your civic duty. That's what you're going to go with? That you're going to blame Becerra? You're going to blame Donald Trump for the problems of California? You're going to try to swoop in here and say that it's Donald Trump's Gestapo that's going on? How about all of the people who broke our laws to come into this country and live here illegally? How about all of the people, former Secretary Becerra, who have been voting in California as illegal aliens? Because that breaks the law. See? That's very interesting. Caitlin Collins jumps in here, and she's going to tee up former Los Angeles Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa with a question that punches down on Katie Porter. This led me to believe that they were not at all happy about Katie Porter being in any capacity in charge of the levers of power in California. Listen.
That highlighted your opponent here, Congresswoman Katie Porter, threatening to cut off an interview with a reporter. That came after a video surfaced of her berating a member of her staff. If a senior official in your government acted as she did in those videos, would you fire them?
Yes.
And you've put out an ad of your own, now making light of that interaction that you had with your
That's not
staffer,
correct, Caitlin.
which you said you apologized for.
That is not correct. The ad is about showing Californians what they've had a chance to see on this stage tonight and in every other debate stage that we've had, which is that I'm able to take responsibility, I'm able to follow the rules, I'm able to say I'm sorry, and I'm able to do better. Everybody in California had a chance to see me on stage with that reporter in the last debate and see exactly how I conducted myself. Californians can decide for themselves about my temperament based on what they've seen here tonight. And if these boys bullying and bickering hasn't been enough to raise questions about their temperament, I would really challenge that. I have taken responsibility at this point hundreds of times, and that's appropriate because I made a bad decision and I treated someone badly. I apologized 5 years ago for it, and we worked together for 4 more years. What I haven't heard is the people on this stage who have made other bad decisions and other mistakes and other failures of leadership. Not one of them, not one of these men have said in this entire campaign, I've made a mistake. Not for not being able to account for undocumented children who wound up in child labor. You called that MAGA talking points and a hoax, Mr. Becerra. I could go down the line. I don't even want to waste my time on this. I just want to say to California, I have taken responsibility. I have shown that. And what that ad is about, Caitlin, is about showing that I can laugh at myself. I can hold myself to account. And I have the fitness, the temperament, and the best ideas to be governor. And everybody's had a chance to see now in 3 debates how.
Thank you, Congresswoman Porter.
Katie Porter calling everybody else the boys bullies. That's a very interesting dig there. Trying to be, I'm a girl up here, you should vote for me. But I dumped a steaming bowl of hot potatoes on my husband's head, and I barked at a staffer to get the F out of my shot in a live interview with somebody. But other than that, I swear I've got a great temperament. I'm perfect. I'm lovely. I'm not so sure she stuck that one. Let's move on. You've got to hear her on giving. How about this question from Katie Porter? Okay, the question, the answer. And it's very simple. Do you guys believe that you should work hard, that you should get up every day and play by the rules and pay your taxes and pay way more than you should, specifically in California, so that illegal aliens who broke our law to get here get all of the free stuff that your family doesn't get? Do you believe that? That's the question. Here's Katie Porter's answer.
Congresswoman Porter, your thoughts on the idea of funding health care for undocumented immigrants statewide?
Yes.
Yes, and
that's, by the way, what I think Californians deserve as answers to these questions, Alex.
And for critics who say that we can't afford it, what do you?
What? For people who say we can't afford it, well, we'll just raise taxes. We'll just go after those damn billionaires, right? That's Katie Porter. Well, that's disqualifying for every honest American who lives in California. Yes, she says. This is Steve Hilton. He's one of the Republican frontrunners, and he's talking about Becerra's own scandal beyond losing 300,000 immigrant children.
My view is that it's a bit rich for Javier to talk about following the law when he is mired personally in a corruption scandal where his former chief of staff, Sean McCluskey, when Javier was appointed by Joe Biden to be health secretary, he wanted his chief of staff to go with him. The salary wasn't enough. So what did they do? They took money from Javier's campaign account to top up his salary by funneling it to Dana Williamson, Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff, so that it was paid to this guy's wife. All of that is illegal. It is against state law. It's against federal law. My running mate for Attorney General, Michael Gates, has this evening written to Javier Becerra to make it clear that when he is Attorney General, Javier will be investigated and, if necessary, prosecuted for these crimes.
What? And all of the color left Becerra's face. Now, I want you to hear this, and I did find the letter. Michael Gates, who is the guy who would be Steve Hilton's administration's Attorney General of California, writes this letter to Xavier Becerra saying, look, we're going to investigate you. We know what you did. We've got the details. You will go down. That was an important blow. That was an important blow for Steve Hilton to land. But I want you to hear CNN with California Congressman Robert Garcia, who endorsed Katie Porter on California being the most expensive place to live and to work. Why is that, Congressman? Listen to the favorite play always used by desperate Democrats.
What do you say to critics who look at California and they say it encapsulates the cost of living problems that they argue that Democrats created the cost of living problems in California, whether it's housing, whether it's gas, with regulation and other things, because it is one of the most expensive places to live in the country, and Democrats have been in charge.
Look, Democrats in California, we produce more federal support than any other state and then some across the country. When you think about programs that people are benefiting in across the Midwest, across the South, much of those resources are coming from California innovation, from Silicon Valley, from our economy, which is still one of the strongest, not just in the country, but around the world. Look, we have real issues here in the state. At the top of that list is issues around affordability of homes, being able to purchase a home, rent, what's happening right now across the state on gas prices. But much of that is also, I'm going to put right now the blame on Donald Trump.
There it is. There you go. It's Trump's fault. It's not our fault. It's not because we suck. It's not because we have bad ideas. It's not because we grift off of these exorbitant government programs, because then we can get money back into our coffers. It's Donald Trump's fault. That's enough. Check, please. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, man, bloodbath, a Cinco de Mayo rhino bloodbath in Indiana. Buckle up, Trump's golden touch continues. Ted Turner died. CNN founder Ted Turner dies at the age of 87. 87 or
Who?
78? Ted Turner.
Oh. Hanoi Jade's husband.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine being married to that piece of work? I'd strangle someone and throw him down the stairs. I'd be like, look, honey, Zip it. How about that? Anywho, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. If I was asked ever, Wendy, you look pretty good for 56. You're pretty fit. You know, not a lot of 56-year-olds are fit, pretty active. What's your secret? Is it how you eat? Is it vitamins? What is it? I would say bloodflow7.com/Wendy. I would say, and I don't lie to you guys. I take it every day and I won't stop. They stop advertising with me, fine. I'm still using it, period. It's not some shtick. It's not some ploy. It's not some gimmick. It's the truth. Bloodflow7.com for me/Wendy has stopped the hands of time and has rewound them, unwound them. I'll say that. I have no business being able to do what I'm able to do in the gym. I didn't used to be able to do it. I didn't all of a sudden become more strong or what have you. Bloodflow7.com. What is having more blood in your system? Relaxing your blood vessels. Nitric oxide is the magic ingredient in this. It's not a secret. What is relaxing your blood vessels and allowing more blood to flow through your body do to you? Well, it's great for your brain. It's great for your gut. It's phenomenal for your heart. And it's more important than that. It's phenomenal for you, your strength, your stamina, your grit, your ability to push forward and not tucker out. You don't hit the wall during the day and then you zonk out and sleep like a boulder. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. 30% off everything in the store, including that, obviously. There's one thing I recommend you do today. It is get yourself a month's supply of bloodflow7.com/Wendy. And then getting in touch with me, wendybellradio@gmail.com. I want to hear what you guys think. All right. The Rhino Purge. This is for reals. This is good. Trump-backed candidates take out GOP incumbents in Indiana. You knew Trump was going to be pissed when they voted against redistricting. Right? It's like what Tennessee just did. And I'll talk about that here off the top. The red state of Tennessee. I'm liking Tennessee more and more. Plus, with all these people fleeing from New York and going to Florida, do I really want to be around a bunch of Democrats? Where should we go? Maybe I'll just surprise Brock and we'll just go to like Nebraska. You don't know anything about Nebraska.
I know.
Well, you just said, ew.
I didn't say ooh. I said, that's different. Like,
what is that? What does that mean? That means I'm not enjoying that thought process?
Huh?
All right, what about North Dakota?
No, I'm done being cold.
All right. How about
somewhere that has nice golf courses?
Mississippi.
Oh, they got courses? At least it's warm. It's probably cheap, too.
How about Tennessee? How about you stay in Pittsburgh and I'll move?
Do I want to be around your boys?
No, you don't have to come. We can. Darn it, I forgot. I know, right? What's going on here? Well, it was a Cinco de Mayo Adios RINOs bloodbath in Indiana. Trump-backed candidates take out GOP incumbents in Indiana and dominate in the Ohio primary in a big night for President Trump. You got a lot going on the left. You've got absolute solidarity here on the right. That is such bad news for the Democratic Party. There is no fissuring. There is no flaking off of MAGA support. Everybody voted for a mandate. We gave Donald Trump a mandate, and voters are giving him more of it. When he says, I want this person, we vote for that person. We voted for this. This is not a mystery. It is baffling to the left, and they are very jealous about it. Well, President Trump proved to be a kingmaker in Tuesday night's Indiana and Ohio Republican primaries, where his seal of approval propelled several GOP candidates to landslide victories. It wasn't a nail-biter, guys, in Indiana. Trump's revenge campaign against incumbent state senators who torpedoed his push last year to redraw the Hoosier state's congressional boundaries was largely successful, with the president's preferred candidates winning 5 of 6 contests. That is so giant. That is so giant. That is the president saying, this is what our agenda is. If you're a Republican, this is what we expect you to do. And they didn't. And so the Republicans said, time for new people to enter these races, time for other people to come in and be a part of this primary. And they did. And last night, they won. A potential 6th victory for a Trump-endorsed candidate was still too close to call. Late last night, everyone in Indiana politics should have learned an important lesson today. This is Senator Jim Banks, who's the Republican from Indiana. He says President Trump is the single most popular Republican among Hoosier voters. Period. Indiana is a conservative state, and we deserve conservatives in our state Senate who have a pulse on Republican voters, he added. Indiana Republican Governor Mike Braun, who staunchly supported the failed redistricting effort, called it an historic night for Indiana. Republicans stood with me and with President Trump to nominate some great America First conservatives, Braun wrote on X. I look forward to winning big in November and serving Hoosiers with this team in the State House. The victories by Trump-backed candidates were decisive. Trevor DeVries topped Indiana State Senator Dan DeMolk by a 75% to 24% margin. What? Tracy Powell beat State Senator Jim Buck in a 65 to 35% race. Brian Schmutzler and Michelle Davis defeated State Senators Linda Rogers and Greg Walker, respectively, by 18-point margins. The first incumbent taken out by Trump was longtime Indiana State Senator Travis Holdman, who'd been in office since 2008, since freaking Obama, and is a member of the Indiana Senate leadership. Holdman was bested by Blake Fletcher by a 61 to 39% margin. You guys, it's not even close. At press time, Indiana State Senator Greg Good was the only incumbent opposed to redistricting who was able to fend off a Trump-backed primary challenge. 5 out of 6. Trump-backed challengers spent over $10 million as part of the effort to remake the Indiana State House. Meantime, in Ohio, biotech entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy waltzed to victory over business owner Casey Pusch in the GOP primary for governor. I think Vivek got something like 82%. Right? And then, by the way, there's also this little juicy and salacious tidbit. That's just in. Red state of Tennessee just released its new 2026 congressional map that eliminates the last remaining Democrat. Oh, by the way, that last remaining Democrat was drawn in on the basis of race. And so now what do we have? A 9-0 GOP advantage in Tennessee. And imagine what's going to happen next. That brings us, interestingly, to hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program. We got to talk about this Justice Sam Alito absolutely dragging Ketanji Brown Jackson for her ignorant dissent to the high court's decision that you can't draw congressional districts in the United States based on race. And you've got to hear the delicious beatdown. It's next on the Wendy Bell radio program. I love it. This stuff is huge. It's not just a sort of, oh, he just barely got that individual over the finish line. To win by 50 points, to win 75 to 24 over incumbents who people might have name recognition with. Sorry. There is nothing. That's why they tried to kill this man. To try to do whatever they can to stop it. Stop it. Stop the success. I love it. All right. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Let's see. Sniper has been shown in lab settings to attack and destroy allergens, thereby literally cleaning your air. It's an exceptional solution to the challenges of keeping a clean and safe environment in the modern home. It won't harm wood. It won't harm granite or stone or porcelain or stainless steel or acrylic. Neither will it stain or discolor most fabrics. It's safe to use around your family, your pets. It's environmentally friendly. What is it? I'm just going to read you what it says on the bottle. What?
You trying to read?
Eliminate odors at the source. Eliminate odors in shoes, furniture, mattresses, curtains, drapes, carpets, rugs, sports equipment, helmets, gloves, body armor, and vehicles. I'm telling you, strong cat odors, pet odors, animal kennels, barn stalls, urine, and other waste odors, strong ammonia odors. It takes care of it. Strong sulfur and formaldehyde odors, strong smoke odors caused by fire, tobacco, and other sources of odors from mold and mildew. This is it. Yeah, all of that. And if you use it in your bathroom, spray it on your counters, handles. It absolutely whacks bacteria, fungal infections, germs, viruses, all of it. I don't know why you wouldn't want it, honestly. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Disinfectwithsniper.com. That's how simple it is to get it. No promo code needed. It's there for you. And by the way, all the products on that website, we've used almost all of them. And they're phenomenal. The Dead Weed Brew. If you guys have ivy or strawberry, wild strawberry that's growing in your grass, or what are some other invasive things that just take off? Mint. If you ever grow mint in a garden, forget about it. It's going to be across your yard in 4 seconds. This, the Dead Weed Brew, that's also on disinfectwithsniper.com, kills it. Kills it. It doesn't come back. You spray around the stuff that you want, and it's like, oh, and everything else is alive. You're like, yes. I know, I get very excited about weird things, but how are you doing? Let's see how you are doing. 2.26. Okay. Hi, Wayne.
Someone said they have golf courses in Mississippi.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Are they in Mississippi and they want us to go there?
I don't know.
Where should we move, guys? Where should we move? Well, nowhere anytime soon since I'm dropping money on him.
Yeah, well.
Brock's not going to want to move because he just put on that new deck.
What's yeah. My deck compared to your patio, I got a Yugo to your Lamborghini.
Wendy, I live just west of Tampa, Florida.
Tupelo, Mississippi.
And I can't remember seeing a girl with blue hair in more than 20 years. Yeah. Right?
I mean, it all depends. Do I get moving expenses?
Hi, KB Metzler. How are you, babe? Hi,
Oh,
H-Chans.
avoiding that question.
Why would I pay for you to do what you would do normally? I find it curious that I'm apparently your ball and chain on everything, right? Or your credit card, I guess. Is that what it is? You need me to pay for your move. Wanted me to pay for his what else, Brock?
I don't know.
Oh.
What else?
Phone, computer, grill,
Business expenses.
grill,
That was a gift.
gazebo.
Wait a second. Did I ask for any of those?
Yes.
Did I? What?
Yes, the phone for sure.
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, you hammered me relentlessly for weeks. Oh my phone,
No. Okay, let me tell you how it went
So
down.
I finally was like, fine, buy the damn phone. Buy the phone. And he was like, thank you.
No.
That's how it went. That's how it went. My phone. I can't even say my phone won't work. My phone's getting hot. And I'm like, fine, just buy the damn freaking phone.
She'd be like,
and he's like,
your
check,
phone
please.
dropped again. And who here, you all empathize with me on this, hates going and get a new phone?
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Who hates it?
It's a lot better when you're not paying for it.
I'll pay for my damn phone. I pay for my damn phone for how long?
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Now he needs a new printer. Actually, we do need to get that.
Oh.
Though I do think I think I threw out my ink, so I guess I was like done looking at it. So, but I know yours is crapped out. Is that right?
Yes. I mean, it was $100 printer.
No, I know. I mean, it's not an expensive thing, but yes, you do need to do that. So, would you please do that?
I'll make sure I pay for it.
Oh God, you're such a jag. I hate everything about you. Like, whatever. Wow. Honestly, stupid. It's so dumb.
Computer work expense.
Oh my God.
I also have my own though that I use every single day.
Oh, that's great. You're so good. You really are.
Yeah. Wow. I like how I can't complain to my friend.
Complain to your friend about what?
About my phone without you thinking it was.
Dude, you did it every day for 2 weeks.
Because it cut out every single day.
I got the message loud and clear.
Oh,
because when I was like, buy the damn phone, he wasn't like, no. He was like, okay.
That's.
Thank you. Really?
You are such.
Wow. I don't lie.
5.
Then fake news giver.
3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with health care and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. You know, we were waiting for this decision by the Supreme Court for quite a while. It was the Louisiana versus Calais. I think that's how they're pronouncing this particular case. And this is the one that called into question all of these districts, congressional districts that were basically drawn in some way to accommodate, I don't know, some kind of racial equality. That the argument in these states was that there were predominantly black areas, that if a white person came in and was the congressperson representing that district, that somehow that wasn't fair, as though a white person can't talk for a black person or represent them, or vice versa. Doesn't make any sense. And so there are districts that are drawn because of race, and that's what the Supreme Court needed to decide. Is that something that jives with the Constitution? And they came up with the conclusion, 6-3, that no, it doesn't. We should not be using, if we are going to have a colorblind system, you can't advantage one group over another, even if you allege the first group is disadvantaged. And so what you're really doing is just trying to even things up. That's not the job of these congressional districts. And so then came this whole idea that we need to get this decision out there fast enough so that the states that are impacted by racially gerrymandered congressional districts can do what needs to be done to remedy the situation before the 2026 midterms. So apparently there's some kind of a rule. They've got like a 32-day rule where once the decision comes down, there's this kind of cooling off period. You got to do this, you got to do that. And some of these states weren't going to be able to get the changes across the finish line in time for the November midterms. Well, we also reported that the dissent here that was written by Elena Kagan was slow walked. They didn't want to write something too quickly because you have to wait for the dissent in order to put out the decision because you need to have both. And she was like, yeah, I'm kind of not feeling it yet. And so the hope was if they stonewall, slow walk, make everybody run through oatmeal for a while, we're just going to get tired and they can have a chance at possibly taking back the House in November. With the redistricting where you eliminate racially gerrymandered districts, Democrats stand to lose a hell of a lot of seats. And then goes poof, their whole idea that they're going to regain control of the House in November, go after Trump, relentlessly investigate and try to impeach yet again the president, right? That all kind of became null and void with the Supreme Court decision. So Ketanji Brown Jackson decided to write a dissent as well. She decided to write something. And Sam Alito ripped her for it. This is a very unusual give and go in the public square with the written word from the High Court. I want to read this to you. This is from Fox News. There are many different iterations. I literally thought this was the most fair. Alito rips Jackson's utterly irresponsible solo dissent as Supreme Court fight shakes up 2026 map. I want to read this. Justice Samuel Alito tore into Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's lone dissent in a high-stakes Louisiana redistricting dispute, calling her arguments baseless and insulting after the Supreme Court decided to fast-track implementing its recent redistricting ruling ahead of the 2026 midterms. So the High Court basically said, look, we're ruling that you have to fix this wrong. And you have to fix this wrong, and we're going to make it faster for you to do that so you can do that and get it out before these elections in November. Alito used a concurring opinion joined by Justices Neil Gorsuch and Clarence Thomas to directly rebuke Jackson, saying her dissent in this suit levels charges that cannot go unanswered. She alleged basically that fast-tracking these changes to these districts is somehow reckless. It's wrong. And so these three justices, Alito, Thomas, and Gorsuch, joined together and they absolutely let it loose. Alito used this. He said, the dissent goes on to claim that our decision represents an unprincipled use of power. And he added that this was groundless and an utterly irresponsible charge. The clash highlighted Jackson's increasingly isolated position on the court, as she broke not only from the conservative majority, but also from her two liberal colleagues who did not join in her dissent. Jackson forcefully accused the Supreme Court of overreach, marking the latest in a pattern of solo dissents. She's standing all by herself. The other libs don't even join her, in which the Biden-appointed liberal justice has blasted high-profile majority decisions that have frequently favored President Donald Trump and Republicans. In Monday's order, this is important because we have to have the best and the brightest on the High Court. This is not a place for box checking. This is not a place for Joe Biden to have made James Clyburn a promise. You help get me elected, and I'll put in a black female vice president and the first black female Supreme Court justice. That's what happened. In Monday's order, the High Court decided in an unsigned ruling to allow officials in Louisiana to quickly move forward with changing their congressional map, which is expected to reshape the state's congressional representation in favor of Republicans ahead of the midterms. Alito argued that delaying the judgment of the High Court's 6-3 ruling last month, which significantly narrowed Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act by finding Louisiana's map was an unconstitutional racial gerrymander, served no practical purpose. Well, Of course, it's a practical purpose for Ketanji Brown Jackson because she doesn't want the Democrats to lose the midterms. She wants them to fight and to win so they can take out Trump. And Samuel Alito is saying, look, we've ruled that it's unconstitutional to gerrymander based on race. We need to push forward so these changes can be made expeditiously. They need to be changed now. Alito argued that delaying the judgment of the court's 6-3 ruling last month, which significantly narrowed Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act by finding Louisiana's map was an unconstitutional racial gerrymander, served no practical purpose. Jackson's reasons for wanting to prolong implementation of the landmark ruling, he said, were trivial at best and baseless and insulting, Alito said. He wrote this: the dissent accuses the court of unshackling itself from constraints. It is the dissent's rhetoric that lacks restraint. This is a very unusual time to see in these public filings, these very public statements, the bickering of the high court with Ketanji Brown Jackson basically showing that she doesn't understand even what her liberal cohorts on the high court understand. She's isolating herself. She's exposing herself, and more is coming out as kind of a deranged anti-Trumper. This court obviously has extraordinary power, and the responsibility to wield that power in alignment with what the founders said in the Constitution is a tremendous burden, but it is their burden. And for her to come out and say, we need to slow walk this and not implement these changes, it's too soon to change these districts that have given Black voters and Democrats an edge. Her argument is baseless, illegitimate, insulting, and it lacks restraint. Wow. This is crazy, you guys. Now, Jackson had warned that the high court's intervention risked improperly injecting itself into an active election and creating the appearance of partiality. But you know what? I got to ask the justice. What do you think Virginia just did? Virginia just pushed a measure to redistrict for the next 4 years, but then go back to the original district in their Commonwealth. Why? Because they knew it was a rigged game. They knew that in so doing, they would gain 4 extra seats in Congress and Republicans would lose those. They knew that if we could just for the next, maybe just for the next couple years, just until we get through this midterm and maybe the next presidential election. And then after that, I promise, super duperly promise, we'll go back to the old way. And they want you to believe that Virginians passed that. Look, this whole idea that one group should be given an advantage over another stinks. That's not what the Constitution says. And to say that you need to do things in order to give some kind of an advantage to even the scales, well, when do you even the scales and tip them? And shouldn't we deserve more than somebody in Ketanji Brown Jackson who clearly sees this through the prism of race? Clarence Thomas doesn't. They call him an Uncle Tom. They tried to destroy him. And a lot of the reason why was because he wasn't for affirmative action. He didn't believe that anybody from any background should get some kind of preferential treatment based on something they can't control. You can't control if you're female or male. You can't control if you're Black or you're white. What you can control is how hard you're willing to go work and get something accomplished, how hard you're willing to go and achieve your wildest dreams. The Supreme Court says you can't do that based on race. Knock it off. And Alito called her out for it. Rough seas on the high court, apparently. But it brings up a much bigger overarching question. Do we deserve box checkers or brilliance? When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, hey, Ilhan Omar, why are Democrats so working hard to keep you from coming forward and telling the truth about what you know? Oh my, next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. There's a lot of legal mumbo jumbo that can make you glaze over. But what she was trying to do was slow walk a decision that would functionally prevent the Democrats from doing anything reasonable to take back the House. which is great news for us. Because personally, as I've said, I don't want them taking control for 50 years. I hope I'm long dead before Democrats take control of power again federally. We've seen what they've done. We've seen what they do. Why would we ever want to go back to that? Doesn't seem complicated. Neither does taking collagen. I'm going to plug this in. What is the benefit of taking collagen as a 56-year-old woman? Let's find out. Ready? This is tough. Let's see. Skin hydration and elasticity is the number one thing that comes up. Thank you, God. This is why I'm doing this. This is why I love my collagen peptides from getnativepath.com/Wendy. If there's a cheap and easy, flavorless, totally dissolvable thing that you can do that fights the hands of time, it's this right here. And it's up to 45% off for the Wendy Bell Radio family. Getnativepath.com/Wendy. This is what it says. For a 56-year-old woman, collagen may modestly help with skin hydration and elasticity, may also support joints and bone health, especially after menopause where natural collagen declines. The evidence is promising. Benefits usually show up only after consistent use for weeks to months. Okay, I'm there. Right here, support for bones, joints, skin, hair, nails, and digestion. That's it. Collagen is not a miracle anti-aging supplement. That's what they say. It's not going to reverse aging, they say, but the effects are noticeable and demonstrable after weeks to months. There you go. Getnativepath.com/Wendy. It's ridiculously affordable. I'm just going to say they make everything affordable there. And they've been a lovely, lovely sponsor of this program. Let's see. Common approach is to try it daily for 8 to 12 weeks and see if you notice any change in skin, joints, or recovery. That's good to know. Not some secret magic bullet. It involves doing this consistently. I think that's all of the things that we're talking about. Consistency. It's absolutely with the Blood Flow 7. You can't just haphazardly take it here or there. You sound like you could start a fire with those dry hands. Do you want to take a pump?
No.
Oh.
Apparently, Froggy said that any monkey can be trained to push buttons. So you might not have, you won't have to pay for my move. You can just find anyone to push the buttons.
Yes, that's right. Takes no skill.
Yeah.
No knowledge. Absolutely.
Well, just think what you'll save.
That's right. $4.
Moving expenses, $4.
I mean, it sounds like a great deal. So when are we breaking up? I'd rather not. I've grown accustomed to you.
Oh, wow.
Kind of like a canker sore. You kind of work around it. You're like, ugh, blah, blah.
Did you just call me a canker sore?
Oh, my.
Oh, boy.
I love you and you know it.
Oh, boy.
This whole Ilhan Omar thing is very interesting. Like, honestly, if you have nothing to hide, why wouldn't you just give everything? Of course, you know the answer to that question.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to push this button.
Well, it might be. I can't interrupt this. It's such great drums. Let it go. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. So, Minnesota Democrats on the fraud committee there have blocked a subpoena into Ilhan Omar's involvement in the $250 million Feeding Our Futures fraud scandal in that state. Why ever would you do that? You know, if there was a Republican that was doing something like that, I'd want them out. I want you exposed. I want you hung up by your toes. I want everything you have to be liquidated and turned back over to the American people. And I'd love to tell you to suck it. I'm not running cover for you. Well, on the Democrat side, it's a little bit different because they're running cover to protect their own. And this is a very interesting Fox report. So this congresswoman, the Somalian who has been a malignant jerk since she came to this country, no doubt lied on her immigration papers, married her brother. Who knows if she's even a U.S. citizen, ladies and gentlemen. This woman opened the door to this Feeding Our Futures fraud. She did it during COVID, introduced a bill, was accepted, that basically loosened the guide rails that she went on to roast for being too loose, for leading to all of the fraud in Minnesota. You did that, Ilhan. You did that. So Fox comes out. They've got part two, 2 sound bites here. Sounds like Congress is going to have to do what the Minnesota State House cannot, which is to force Ilhan Omar by subpoena to appear and present documents about her involvement in this $250 million scam. Listen.
Squad Democrat Ilhan Omar closing in on a deadline set by Minnesota Republicans to turn over documents about potential ties to a state fraud ring after she dodged a hearing last month. Our senior correspondent Mike Tobin is reporting live out of Chicago. He's got the latest details for us. Hey, Mike.
And Sandra, that deadline is today for Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar to turn over documents and communication tied to defendants in that massive Feeding Our Futures scandal. The Minnesota House Committee on Fraud Prevention and State Agency Oversight is holding its last meeting of the legislative session today. However, the committee does not have enough votes to subpoena the Congresswoman, so the committee doesn't have a legal mechanism to compel Omar to cooperate. The chair of the committee has sent Omar multiple invitations and requests for documents. Omar does not respond. Omar now sponsored the 2020 Meals Act, which removed the guardrails on COVID relief money and helped the fraud run up to $250 million. Despite that, the chair of the Fraud Prevention Committee does not anticipate the Minnesota congressman will respond by the deadline.
It shows her continued disdain for the taxpayers. She feels like she's above having to answer for her involvement in the fraud and her responsibility as a member of Congress who, she passed the bill that took the guardrails off the school nutrition program that led to the conditions that enabled Feeding Our Futures.
100%. She's got a little Eric Swalwell in her, doesn't she? So emboldened, so untouchable because she believes the machine will protect her. Well, it is right now. But the woman behind the Feeding Our Futures scam is in prison, and some very curious communications came up during her trial.
Now, Amy Bach was convicted as the mastermind of the Feeding Our Future scandal. Defendants billed the government for meals that were never provided through existing restaurants and sham companies. Now, in Bach's trial, Omar's name appeared in an email chain with Bach. Trial evidence showed text communication with Bach and Omar. Trial evidence also showed Bach exchanged emails with one of the defendants who fled the country. The title of that email chain was Ilhan's Office.
And she doesn't think that she has to respond. And the Minnesota legislature has to tiptoe around her. Why? This is why they never want to lose power. This is why they always have to have some new grift to feed back into their coffers. If you're not out doing actual good for the people, you've got to steal from them. You've got to lie to them. They're not going to vote for you. You have to concoct a system that enables your own survival. That is the Democrat policy. That's the way of the Democratic Party. They can't win on candidates. They can't win on plans, ideas, dreams. They can't run on a track record. This is why they need to cheat. This is why they need mail-in ballots. This is why they need illegal aliens. This is why they need Act Blue. This is why they need USAID. This is why they need the Southern Poverty Law Center. This is why. It's protection. It's survival. It's unacceptable. And it's got to stop. And if Indiana was any indication last night, that Cinco de Mayo, Adios Rhino bloodbath, maybe that sort of stuff can happen on the left as well. Maybe so. Maybe that's exactly what will happen. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Karen Bass, LA mayor, she needs to stay in office to stay free, doesn't she? Oh boy, you got to listen to what she said yesterday next. Right? Tell me one reason why Karen Bass should remain mayor. Because she's done such swimming job with cleaning up the homeless problem. Because she's done a lot with the rebuilding of the Pacific Palisades. She's done a lot with that. She's working a lot with innovators and entrepreneurs, bringing the costs down, making things better in LA. Not a chance. What's going on here? Trumping it. Hey, Wendy, I think I have the best idea yet. Just fire Brock every weekend and then hire him back on Monday. I also think, Brock, and you need extramarital couples counseling. I should fire you on Friday and then bring you back on Monday.
What makes you think I won't have a job by Monday?
What makes you think you won't have a job by Monday?
Yeah.
That's a good point. I don't know.
I mean, everyone's looking for a good canker sore.
It seems to me that struck a nerve. Did that strike a nerve?
No.
It didn't.
No, I'm
Good.
used to it.
Oh, good. That didn't just make you more of a victim than you usually are, did it?
Wait. Whoa.
Let's
Who was
do this.
claiming being the victim earlier?
Let's take it. Okay, I'm going to ask you, how many metal utensils are in my hair right now?
Well,
let's see.
that's if she can
Canker
find
sore.
them all.
I can find them. That's 4. I'm in between. You guys did this to me. 5, 6, 7. Oh, 8. That's great. What do you guys think? Hold on. I'll make it better for you.
I don't think anyone's surprised if they've been there on Sundays.
There you go. How are you doing?
I've already played Welcome to the Jungle.
Okay, we're good now. I like this Spencer Pratt guy. You know, I don't care if he was some reality TV star dude.
Hey, you know what? He's what they say. You have a problem? Stop squawking about it and go fix it.
Yeah. Let's fix the problem. Let's fix the problem. And his ads have been, they're so basic. It's just so basic. It's not complicated.
You're sticking out on the side.
I'm sure I am.
Other side.
Over
By your
here.
ear.
Oh, I'm trying. Sorry. Hold on. Oh, no.
Canker sore.
Oh, did I hurt your feelings? No. I'm going to just fall on this freaking sword as often
Gotta
as-
take the abuse to keep the job, you know?
Yes, you do. Please. I'll just say this in
Listen,
defense.
she wouldn't know what to do without me.
In defense of my friend, I would know what to do without you. I would say this. It would not be nearly as much fun. That's the case. So the number was, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
That was close.
That's pretty good. Yep. There you go. Anyway. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. Stag Road. Good morning. Northeast Ohio checking in. Breaking news. Pope Leo steps in and saves Iranian women from being executed. Just kidding. Pope Leo didn't do shit. President Trump did that. I mean, I'm not laughing because Iranian women are not being executed. I'm laughing because I didn't hear that.
That wasn't.
That was a long time ago, right?
Wildlife watcher, that wasn't an apology.
What? I'm not apologizing. What am I apologizing to you for? Apologizing for what? Calling you a victim of your own mind? Yeah, maybe. Look, we have the perfect relationship because I never did radio before. Literally, when Brock got me, he was just filling in, and I didn't even know what button to hit for my microphone to be live. Literally, and they're like, in 3, 2, and I'm like, and this one had no idea who I was, didn't want to work with me, didn't care. You
I
didn't,
wouldn't
it's not
say
like you,
didn't wanna
did,
work
you
with
just
you,
didn't
didn't
care.
care.
I was like, why did you care? Like, one more person I'm going to have to, make sound presentable. And he did more than the bare minimum, which is what I could say the other people were doing. And so I saw him and I was like, that one. And the general manager of the radio station was like, that one? And I'm like, yeah, that one. I want that. And he was like, all right. And the rest is history. It's almost like if anything, Brock should be thanking me for having such vision. There's some ointment I can use for canker sores anyway.
Oh, my vision.
Hey, I had vision.
Of what? Getting through the show?
I had a vision. I don't know. I'd never done radio before. I had no idea.
Vision.
And look at us now, kicking ass.
Vision.
So we're going to play that Spencer Pratt ad. It's fantastic. I wonder if liberals in California are paying attention to all this stuff. I'd
I
like to
heard
call
Katie Porter talking real nice.
Hey Siri, text Janet Sal.
What would you like to say to Janet?
I'm thinking of you, ... I love you and I miss you, period. It seems like a lot longer ago than a year and 3 months that insane inferno ravaged Southern California. Multiple. We've talked about the guy accused of starting the Palisades fire, about what kind of individual he was, about how he was triggered, how he was a clone trooper, ticking time bomb, and the timer was on and then he blew. We talked about the people who died. We've talked about the fire hydrants. Where was the water? We've talked about the reservoirs. Where was the water? We talked about the spigot, if you will, up in Northern California, the Sierra Nevada, where the water that comes from snow and rainfall is diverted into the Pacific Ocean and not down into the farms, not down into Los Angeles. And so growing up in California, we water rationed. I've told you the stories, right? How we'd get into the shower, but before you got into the shower, you had a bucket, and the bucket caught the shower water that wasn't yet hot. And you captured that water and you used that to pour into the back of the toilet when you flushed, and you only flushed the toilet only when it was absolutely necessary. That's how I grew up in Southern California. Why? Was it Karen Bass's fault? No, but it's a lot of Democrat nonsense. And so now you've got this mayor of Los Angeles, who's literally fighting for her to be reelected, because the only place that she can be protected, the only place she can continue to suck as royally as she sucks, is where she is. Where she can drive around and have some escort and have protection and pretend that she matters and fly off to Ghana right before a major fire potential windstorm event. And then feign, well, I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist. No, Karen, you just suck. It's plain and simple. And so now she's being challenged by a young man named Spencer Pratt. Now, I'm not familiar with him, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. All right? LA Mayor Karen Bass accused reality television star Spencer Pratt of exploiting the grief of Palisades fire victims as he seeks to oust her from office, completely ignoring that he was a victim of those very fires. His house burned down. He lost everything. He had to crane in this silver camper thing so that he could live there on the slab of land that used to be his. And Karen Bass went on this podcast, Midas Touch. Katie Fang, who's an MSNBC host of a show that was canceled last year. She's now doing this podcast, and she brings Karen Bass on. She's not bringing Karen Bass on to ask Karen Bass critically about her reaction, about how many homes have been rebuilt. Tell me about the licensing and permitting process. What are you doing to expedite rebuilding? What are you doing for the people of Los Angeles? She gives her cover for sucking as royal as she does. I want you to hear this give and go. Karen Bass sounds as ill-informed, as incompetent to be in her job as Ketanji Brown Jackson. Honestly, is this the best the Democrats have to offer? Box checkers with dreadful track records? Seriously, this is Karen Bass on the Midas Touch podcast with Katie Fang saying she literally has no idea who the guy who's her opponent is. Really?
Honestly, before this, I had never heard of Spencer Pratt. So,
well, you aren't missing out on anything, so it's okay, but please go on.
Exactly. But the thing I am concerned and feel about him is that I feel like he's exploiting the grief of people in the Palisades. And I think that's
right.
just reprehensible. That's the main thing. And I think he is about his own celebrity. He's famous now again.
Hmm. Yeah. And, I want to talk about this for just a second, though, right? Because these fires were so tragic, and they most certainly are something that is top of mind for you as the mayor of LA. But the way that Pratt's going about trying to, I really haven't heard a proposal for a solution or a remedy on being able to fix these problems for him. I've just kind of heard a lot of just inflammatory rhetoric, frankly.
Inflammatory rhetoric. Well, let's find out. So let's get this reality TV star. So he was on the TV series The Hills, okay? He's known for that. I didn't know that. I've never watched it, but really, quite frankly, that's irrelevant. I want you to hear his ad. This guy comes out of nowhere, the same way President Trump came out of nowhere and was like, look, I can't sit by and watch the destruction of the country that I love. Spencer Pratt puts out an ad to show you what it's like to lose everything. Here you go.
This is where Mayor Bass lives. You notice something? Or here, where Nicky Raman's $3 million mansion sits. They don't have to live in the mess they've created where you live. This is where I live. They let my home burn down. I know what the consequences of failed leadership are. That's why I'm running for mayor. For my sons and the rest of us Angelinos that want to stop these corrupt politicians from destroying our city. We are going to get the golden age of Los Angeles back.
See, full stop right there, 30 seconds, one of the best campaign ads I've ever seen in my life. Who wouldn't vote for a change? Guy lost everything. We're tired of the same old, same old. It's the same stuff every single damn day. And now we've lost everything, right? And so the left is like, holy crap. That ad went viral. Some people called it the most brilliant political ad that they've ever seen. So this is where Katie Fang sets up Karen Bass with a softball question. She doesn't ask about her failed response. She didn't ask why she traveled out of the country, knowing full well that hurricane strength winds were about to whip through Southern California. Santa Ana winds, guys, are no joke. She knew this was coming. Katie Fang has a million things she could ask her. But this is how she sets up Karen Bass.
Like, talk about why it's different to actually have been in the role as mayor, to have to manage and navigate these types of tragedies and these disasters, and how that type of real life, real time experience speaks to your ability to continue to lead that city.
You know what Katie Fang could have asked her? Mayor Bass, we understand that there was a gentleman who was very concerned about the winds who got in touch with you. In fact, you called him as you were getting on board that plane to go to Ghana. And you told him to just wait. After, when you got back, everything would make sense. It would all be clear. Yeah, it was. She left to avoid an inferno. She bailed, left Dodge to go somewhere else while her citizens burned alive. Got it. Karen Bass then jumps in and she says, look, my years of service, I'm qualified to do this because I failed in this level and then I went upwards and I failed at that level and I'm still failing. But this Spencer Pratt guy, he's never had an opportunity to fail. So why would we let him? Listen.
You know, for me, I am so well served that I served at the state level and at the federal level. So I have the relationships. I know how our government works. I think he could benefit by a basic civics course because I don't think he understands the basics of how any government works. But, you know, for me, these fires, it was the worst natural disaster that we experienced in our city. At the root of it, you know, we have to get adjusted to, just like everybody else in the nation, to different weather experiences that we're not used to because of climate change. So we don't know hurricanes. I'm born and raised in Los Angeles. To have hurricane strength winds and actually no rain is odd anywhere, but especially in Los Angeles.
Wait a minute. You had 8 months of no rain, which largely led to the kindling and the rapid spread of the fire. 8 months. Why was there no water? Where was the water, Karen? Why aren't we asking critical questions like that, Katie? Why? And then this is the one. His house burned down, Karen. Did you not know that your opponent who tweeted out that campaign ad of his house burned down with a simple line that says, they not like us. That's literally what Spencer Pratt wrote, and this thing went viral. They're not like us. Here's Karen Bass proving. And she doesn't care.
But, you know, lives were lost, houses were lost, histories, you know, and I mean, it's a lot. It was a horrific tragedy. And, you know, my job is to get the Palisades rebuilt as fast as humanly possible. And I will tell you that we have issued over 2,600 permits. We have for about 1,100 different properties. We have 400 plus homes that are currently under construction. We have people getting ready to move in the summer. And so rather than helping move that along, I don't think anybody should exploit the grief of any situation.
He wasn't exploiting grief, Karen. He was exposing you and your failure. And you just said, my job is to rebuild as fast as humanly possible. It's been 485 days. Do you guys want to take a guess on how many homes in the Pacific Palisades in those 485 days have been rebuilt? Remember, 6,800 homes and businesses lost, 12 people dead. It's been 485 days, and there has been one house that has been rebuilt. One. No wonder Karen Bass has to go a totally different way. No wonder Katie Fang has to be there to give her that trampoline. I just don't think you should be campaigning off people's grief. He's grieving, Karen. He's grieving. And you're a failure. And Californians know it. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, you know what? It's really sad to tell you guys this. Barack Obama's TDS apparently is causing problems at home with Big Mike. I know. I got it for you next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I say, what the hell? Joe loves the video of Big Mike dancing with Ellen DeGeneres doing the... Oh, Brock's butt hurt. Oh, we're not. Are we gonna play those games?
What?
Oh, Brock's playing those games. This is him as I was talking. He's like,
Because I know she knows what I do, but I have to turn things on and off at specific seconds.
Gotcha.
So I was.
I beg your
looking at
pardon.
my-
I thought you were just looking waywardly out the window.
No.
Like a lost soul. Okay, good. I apologize. Jump to conclusions there. Literally all he had to do. Let's see how many. I want to see how many people have seen this ad. And literally all he writes is, they not like us. No punctuation. They not like us. 100%. That language is all encompassing. Everybody who sees that knows what that means. That 30-second spot on Twitter, which is arguably way more important than television, 12.8 million views. 12.8 million views, 21,000 retweets, 4.1 thousand comments, and 125,000 likes. Karen, what have you done, babe? What have you done? I'm going to go with nothing. That pissed me off today. I saw that. I was like, oh. See, I'd love to know. I'd love to know who my sister is going to vote for mayor.
Katie.
Or my dad.
Oh, for mayor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I could see Pops voting for Spencer Pratt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'll have to make sure I've got him locked and loaded. So are we fighting or have we made up?
I have no idea. I don't want to agitate the boss, you know. Oh my God. Who knows what will happen? Might not be here tomorrow or get fired Friday, and I don't know. Once the stove's hot, you don't want to keep touching it.
Do you guys remember the Calgon commercials? Take me away. Yes. Do you guys remember the Gina Tay commercials? You probably don't. Did you see the Gina Tay commercials here where the woman's riding the horse? And they're talking about when you're riding your horse, you need to be splashed in Gina Tay. So there she's like splashing, and then all of a sudden she's riding the horse. People know this. I know you know this. You've seen this ad. It's from the 70s. Oh, you were not even really born.
I was young.
Yeah. The comments are fantastic. Wow, I pray you win. Let's do an interview. Help save LA. Nick Shirley said that. You know, and Spencer reach out, Spencer at mayorpratt.com. That's fantastic. What a great landing page. Love it. Oh, you're feeling despondent because you're wondering what your life would be without me?
No.
I mean, who are you going to golf with on Sunday if I fire you? Because clearly I'm not going to let you fraternize with my sons. It sounded creepy. Oh, Barack. Oh, Barack. In anything future presidents talked about. I don't remember that. I remember Bill Clinton really weighing in all that much on future presidents and the jobs that they were doing. But it's curious when you pay attention to Barack Obama. Think about Barack Obama, right? First Black president, 8 years in the Oval Office, multi-million-dollar spread wherever the hell they are, Martha's Vineyard or whatever it is, right? They've written books. They've done TV deals. These guys are loaded. The Obamas have more money than God. Why are you still involved in what's going on? You have every reason and every ability to walk away and live your life and enjoy without the financial constraints of the rest, literally, of America. And yet Barack Obama cannot resist himself. The former president has to be involved in everything. It wasn't enough that he ran 4 years of Joe Biden's presidency. Clearly, that's the case. But now it's coming out. And it's, ladies and gentlemen, it's not good news. I'm sorry to tell you this, but Barack Obama's Trump derangement syndrome is affecting the marriage. I know. Obama admits genuine tension in marriage over pressure to stay in politics. Former president telling the New Yorker that his wife, Big Mike, wants him to ease up and spend more time with him, her.
No, they don't. I mean, please.
It's
She's
like-
mad that they don't have a personal chef anymore.
Look, if he hadn't gone naked paddleboarding, this wouldn't have happened, Brock. Former President Barack Obama said that pressure on him to continue being politically active throughout the Trump administration has created tension in his marriage with the former First Lady Michelle Obama. She wants to see her husband easing up and spending more time with her, enjoying what remains of our lives, Obama told the New Yorker in an interview published May 4th. Kind of sounds like a death sentence, doesn't it? Sounds like
Isn't
he's
it?
sounds like he's like writing off the days, like, ugh, one day closer to the grave. It doesn't sound very exciting. You know, this guy should be the happiest dude on planet Earth. You have it all, my man. What don't you have? Well,
A
apparently
loving wife, a chef, a political future.
people aren't looking at me in historical comparison to other presidents, he told the magazine. They don't care about the fact that no other ex-president was the main surrogate for the party for 4 election cycles after they left office. Oh, no. Oh, Barack. The burden. How are you carrying it? He claimed that Trump's recklessness forced his hand. The New Yorker wrote, prompting him to weigh in on a wide swath of Trump's actions, from pulling the United States out of the Paris Climate Accords of suck to dismantling Obama's signature domestic policy achievement, the Unaffordable Care Act. But again, at least you kept your doctor. If you liked your doctor, you kept your doctor. His opposition to Trump has spurred Obama to delve back into politics, quote, more than I would have preferred, he told the magazine. Oh, please. He's got nothing else. Like, after all of that, and you're miserable. Why? Because you're living a lie. You're pretending that you're not gay. You're pretending all of these things that we know, right? Nobody cares. Go live your authentic life, Barack. We all think you're dirty anyway. At least I do. 5 posts Obama sent urging Virginians to vote yes on a ballot measure that redrew Virginia's congressional districts heavily in favor of the Democrats garnered over 220 million views, according to X's publicly visible statistics. And the language Obama used in the posts was considerably partisan. Free and fair elections are the cornerstone of our democracy. That's rich. Then why did you guys steal it in 2020? Why? I mean, if we could dismantle the former president's commentary just by mere facts alone, no wonder he's a miserable schlog, right? Married to him, miserable at home, daughters who aren't his, some people say. I don't know. Inquiring minds want to know. I don't know. It's sad. Don't you think if you're president, you should just go on like Reagan did? Go out, retire on the farm, go back to the ranch, rekindle that romance with whomever it is. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, it's sad. We've got some serious issues in this country, and we've got a president and administration that's making serious progress. We've got Republican candidates who are coming forward, and they're exposing the rhinos that have allowed so much of this suck to happen. Change is going on. A fix with Iran sounds imminent. Things are going to settle back down again. I voted for that. How about you? Thanks for being a part of the Wendy Bell Radio program. We'll do it again tomorrow. How about it? Same time, same place? Deal. It's a date. Love you guys. Peace.